Good morning. It is Patrick and the people, and look at this group of ne'er-do-wells right here.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, Rich is out today. He is doing the coaches interview for the Wise Guys. They've got their podcast where they interview the coaches, and so he's doing that. You know, he's a big star these days, so I only get it so often, you know. But
So is this cat.
yeah, I know, right?
Man.
Sitting here with a couple of rock stars this morning. It's pretty damn cool. I got Darrin Riggan here, and I got Luke Shoemaker. Everybody knows these guys.
Stoked to
What
be
the
here.
hell's going on, man?
Man,
Good
it's
times,
good to be
man.
here. I didn't know this
Total
dude was
surprise,
pulling up,
total
bro.
surprise.
Yeah, dude.
I completely didn't tell either of them they were going to
Yeah,
be here.
that's great, that's
So
great.
that was great, man. Yeah.
I was just telling Darrin, I think it's literally been about 4 years since my album release show at Temple in Fort Smith that I've
Yeah.
seen him.
Great show.
So it's been a little bit. Yeah, man. Always a great show, man. Always a great show. How are things going in your world, Darrin?
Man, busy as I can get. The band's busy. No complaints, man. You
Yeah.
know, the usual construction is dominating my universe.
Yeah. So that's awesome, man. I
Building
mean,
houses so you can sell them.
yeah, that's right. That's right, man. Tell them what the name of your company is, buddy.
Riggan Renovations, man. We do a little bit of everything: decks, additions, remodel, trim. You know, you
Doesn't
you
matter.
name
You do it.
Bathrooms,
Yeah, if it has
kitchens.
to do with a home, you'll do it.
We can build the Empire State Building right here. We just need a good check.
No,
you
I know,
go.
that's right. You get the check first. That's what I'm going to say.
That too.
Get it in the bank first, actually. What's going on, man? There's a lot going on with Luke Shoemaker and Vantage Ruins. I know that.
Man, it's been like full-blown production
I
mode.
mean, you got the marathon show. Come on, man.
Yeah, dude. So it's
Man, it's the second biggest venue,
In
right?
Nashville.
In Nashville.
yeah, like so the past 7 days have been wild because there's been so much that you've known about for months that hadn't been able to talk about.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know how much of a vault I have to be around this cat, man?
Yeah, no. So we got Marathon announced. So my buddy Mike Ritchie, he's putting on Brochella.
Yeah.
It's gonna be at Marathon. I love the name, by the way.
Yeah, Brochella's a great name.
Yeah, and he's putting it on. It's gonna be at Marathon. It's the biggest room in town other than Bridgestone. It's a 1,500 seater. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna rock it out. My buddies in Via Sky are playing as well. We're gonna be shooting a live music video in there that night with Hardy's videographer.
Wow.
We also announced that in July that me and Alex are going to go open up for Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. We played with him back when he did a show over here at Sticky's.
Yeah.
and became boys and, you know, friends with his management and Breaking Ben's management. So we always knew something was going to happen again at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So we got that announced. And finally, I can drop a little Patrick and the People exclusive right here.
Okay. Now, this I love already.
Yeah. So a lot of y'all have been asking when new music's coming. So I'm looking. Where's the camera? Which one are we using? Right here?
You're right there.
Cool,
Look
cool,
right
cool.
in it. Yeah.
Friday, July 11th, the next Vantage Ruin single. It's going to be a triple threat release. So it's myself, another band that I write for called Via Sky, and my good buddy Blake's band, Exus. We're doing a triple threat track release together where all three bands are a primary artist.
Wow.
The song's called Losing Sleep. It's going to drop Friday, July 11th on all platforms. I can tell you something's happening. I can't tell you what just yet, but we secured a
I love the secret.
Yeah,
I know, right?
dude.
Make
Yeah,
everybody wonder.
I know.
yeah, dude, we secured a pretty solid world premiere for it. It helps to have friends in high places, so we're about to launch this thing to the moon.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying?
this is the time that I've personally been waiting on because I knew it was coming.
Yep.
We've been talking about some things, and this is that. Hold on, will you guys? Yeah,
It's
just
all
it
right.
gives crazy feedback. This is that time where I knew already it was launching into the stratosphere, but now physically you're going to start seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Vantage launch into the stratosphere, and I've been saying that, probably when we started this, I said we're within, 18 months, 2 years of these guys being playing, big amphitheaters and arenas and stuff like that, and here we come.
It's about to be wild, man. And one thing I want to say too, because I've had some of my Arkansas homies hit me up. I know I've announced a lot of Nashville shows here lately, and there's shows in other states coming too. But Arkansas, I have not forgotten about y'all. Me and Alex have talked about this specifically. We want it to be one of those deals that, it's been 3 years since I played a show in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And we absolutely have Arkansas on our radar. When we come back, we want it to be a true moment in time. We want to make it special. And so there's some circumstances, there's some things that we want to be sure we have in place. So that way when we come back and do an Arkansas show, it's a moment in time. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a real meaningful
Yep.
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that everybody can get excited about,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Man, I hadn't seen you since you. Thank you, by the way, for coming to the Looney Bin, man.
Oh, dude.
You surprised me that night. You came. What was it? Night one, I was performing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You should have seen the last night.
Dude,
You
I wish
saw
I
the
was
first
there.
night,
Yeah.
which was I was getting the rust off the wheels and getting back in it. But by the Gateway show Sunday, I was
Own it.
I was on 10 out of 10, man.
That's cool.
The rust was off and I was feeling myself, and it was a great show, man. I wish you could have seen it, but I am working with Wayne at the Looney Bin. I'm breaking some news here, and we're about to put another show together here in the not too distant future at all.
Oh, yeah. He just let me know. I'll come through.
Yeah, this one I'll be headlining.
Oh,
So,
hell yeah.
I won't be the host. I'll be the headliner.
Hell yeah, man.
So that's exciting, and I was glad that we were able to, he was able to see me perform through the week and get to know me as a performer, not just a host he brings his comedians into, and it went really well. So I was happy about that. They're good folks over there. They're really nice people, actually.
That was a fun night, man. That was my first time ever at the Looney Bin.
Really?
So,
Yeah,
I had never
it's a
been
cool
there
place,
before.
man.
I don't think I've been there.
No,
it's cool.
You never been?
Ron reached out to me and he was like, "Man, you got to come out." And I was like, "I can't tonight."
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. For those who don't know, because I don't want to belabor it because we've talked about it a lot. The Gateway show was a show where the 4 comedians who had performed all week long at the Looney Bin come in on Sunday, and stone cold sober, 24 hours, nothing. No booze, no nothing, period. And you do a set for 10 minutes, stone cold sober. Then they take you outside and they proceed to split you into the next universe with loaded spliffs. And they bring the audience out, and the audience comes by, and anything they hand you, you got to do it. And man, when I tell you, everybody was handing me something, So then you have to go back in after that and do another set. And try to pull that off with, being stoned out of your
I
gourd.
know you like that tequila.
No, hell no, man. I don't mess with that, man. I'm highly allergic to that, brother. You're one of the only people that probably actually know about that, man.
remember.
Yeah, no, that was a tough. That was if you're remembering what I remember, it was the show with where I opened up for Brian Posehn at Juanita's.
I couldn't remember. I just remember it was a big deal at
Yeah,
the time. And,
it was.
And you ended up, you talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, no,
So that was the joke. We need to bring him some tequila.
Yeah, no, that's when I learned. Actually, I never knew. I never drank
It's
tequila.
just got a little bit in it.
And I did shots of tequila, and man, I opened for Brian Posehn, who was on Sarah Silverman and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
He was a really, really big comedian at the time. Still a well-respected comic and all that. He's a heavy metal comic, But anyway, I did those tequila shots, and man, it wasn't 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm like, oh God. And he's on stage performing now.
Yeah.
And so by the time we get off, they come, old Juanita's, you go out back on the concrete patio, people would come out there and you'd sign and take pictures.
Yeah.
So, that's what we were going to do. And man, it hit me and I just started throwing up. People surrounded me, got around me so nobody would know. It was humiliating, really.
Yeah.
And then, what was crazy was, we were having a party at my house probably 6 months later, and Laura goes, "You can do just a shot, though." And I was like, "No, I mean, I swear to God, I'm allergic to it." She goes, "No, you're not." She goes, that was just one night. You probably just had the wrong thing to drink. Man, I did that shot, and the rest of the party, I spent inside going, "Ah!" She felt so damn bad that she didn't believe me, because it was like 3 straight hours of dry heaving off. The agave plant and me are not friends
You
at
said
all.
that was at Juanita's, right?
Yes, old Juanita's.
So I never got to go to old Juanita's.
It was a vibe, man. There was a special feeling,
Yeah.
I hate that they ever moved, honestly.
Man, no one moves and it works.
It's very rare, especially when you have an iconic location like that. I mean, Juanita's was the dive bar for Arkansas, and every rock band who was every rock band came through there.
Oh, they all.
It was kind of a rite of passage to play Juanita's there, and I understood why they moved. They were renting that space, leasing
there's
that
a lease
space,
problem. Yeah.
and they had a lease issue. They couldn't get certain things fixed or done, and Joe was just tired of it, and they worked a deal out at the River Market. But I was always sketchy about that because parking's terrible at the River Market.
Man,
see you, Rich.
they separated the restaurant.
Yeah. And the vibe just wasn't the same.
Yeah, that was part of the deal. Is while I eat my taco, I hear somebody jam, and I can
Yeah.
go in there.
Yeah.
Once they separated those two things, it really wasn't. It just
Yeah.
wasn't the Juanitas.
No,
I saw some good shows. I
No,
saw
there were
Seven
some
Dust
great
there.
shows. I mean, they put in a beautiful stage. It was a beautiful place, but it wasn't the beauty they needed. You know, the grunge and the grime and 50,000 years of dirt and scum
was
on
the
the
selling
floor
point,
and
yeah.
marker on the wall and rust up tables and all
Yeah.
that. That was what made it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and so I hated it because I mean, what they make it maybe a year after that, something
long.
like that. It
Not
wasn't long.
And I only got to go to 2 shows at the new spot. Like I went and Mark Tremonti came through with his solo project, which Tremonti's my favorite guitar player. So I got
Yeah.
to see him there. Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. He's a good one. Just a couple things. Let's see. Rich said Patrick needed his emotional support horse.
There you go. Yeah.
That's right,
I
buddy.
see you,
That's
Rich.
right. Thanks, Rich. Little doggy said Juanita's was the place. He said, I
love
tell
Mike
Joe every
Woodall.
time I see him now how much I miss his restaurant. Yeah, he probably loves hearing that. Brandon said Patrick got handed a Pineapple Express trifecta joint. I did. It was, the last thing someone handed me before I walked in was a cross joint. And I was just like, who did this? Who did this to me? It was
You had a pretty good turnout that Sunday show.
Oh
right?
no, it was sold out. I mean, they turned people away on that show. It was absolutely whatever I think 650, whatever the max number they could put in there is what was in there.
That's awesome.
There was no spare seats to be had, so it was a hell of a show. Yeah, we had a great time.
I seen old Ronnie James pulled up. I need to see
Yeah,
that
Ronnie
again.
did. Him and Dovey came. Man, it was an old school week there for sure. A lot of folks showed out and supported.
Yeah.
Let's real quick here. We'll get to some news you can use. By the way, a little later in the show, I've got I don't want to say the most compelling, but among the most compelling interviews I've ever done. It's a guy named Chuck McConnell, and Chuck died on the steps of a church in Hot Springs. But I'm interviewing him. I'm talking to him.
That's
All right,
crazy.
just think about that for a minute. He died on the steps in Hot Springs, and he's telling me his story. So you think about that for a minute. Chuck's story is the first in our real series of reinventing your life. That's what it's called. And, I'm doing a series now of people who have, been at the lowest, darkest places and have turned that completely around to change their life and the trajectory of it.
I need to bring you my buddy Rich to have on. Then Rich is the singer for Via Sky.
Yeah.
That song "Losing Sleep's" about all the stuff.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely love to interview him, whether in person or by Zoom, either one.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if he has a story like that, because
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to feature at least once a week. I'd like to have one of those stories on here because, we always talk about, the bad things people do and we talk shit about it. And,
Yeah.
it's easy to take people down, but it's great to see those stories of people who've been at the bottom and have reinvented themselves because sometimes, when you're in the midst of it, you can't see around the curve.
True.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see people who did, man.
No doubt.
Brandon said it was a beautiful thing. People from all walks of life puffing and passing. Yeah, all races, all walks of life puffing and passing. That's right. That's right. All right. Nintendo, their newest video game console breaking records.
Woo woo.
The Switch 2.
3 million or something.
Well, let's see. Last week they managed to rack up more than 3.5 million units sold in 4 days.
Times $500.
Yeah,
That'll
you
work.
might do it. Yeah, that makes it the fastest selling console in the history of the company. The Switch 2 retails for $450. Some stores already out of stock.
I can't wait to get one.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like the Switch? You
Oh
use
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. People always laugh because they'll come backstage at my show and they'll think rock show backstage. They'll think one thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They walk in the green room and it's me playing
Yeah,
Lego
it's
Star
not the
Wars on
Hoochie
my
Mamas
Switch.
and
Yeah.
Split Fest. It's
You guys are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, no,
right.
literally. Yeah.
All right, Jaws could be returning to the famous Nathan's hot dog eating contest on Coney Island this summer. Joey Chestnut in talks to return to the 4th of July competition. He was banned in 2024 due to a sponsorship issue. He's won the event 16 times and holds the record of 76 hot dogs downed in 10 minutes.
I don't see how this guy does it.
Man, I don't either because he's not
He
fat.
wets the bun
Yeah,
down. I
it's
mean,
real weird,
It's not even
man.
hot, it's nasty.
No, I mean I can't
I
imagine
love
how
a
you
Nathan's
feel
hot
after.
dog. But
Yeah.
No, it's 76 of them though.
Yeah,
at one time.
craziness.
You see little doggy's comment, right? Is that true, man?
Thanks to mentioning the sale of Dale's Donuts, they've had over 200 serious offers.
that this
Channels
morning.
11-7 picked up the story. Way to go, P. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I don't know. I mean, it could be, but I did talk about it.
Yeah, they had a number up this morning
Yeah,
on the news.
yeah, I talked about it a couple days ago.
Somebody please buy that spot. They have the best.
Man,
donuts.
their stuff is fire, man. I mean, they've been there a long, long time, still running. To get Dale still running, there was. You know, he's about to sell it. So
It's right there on military.
My first job ever was at Shipley Donuts. I
was it?
13.
You lucky son of a bitch.
4:00 in the morning. I got $2 an hour. So
Yeah.
all the donuts.
But you got all the donuts you wanted.
Dude, straight up though.
That's a fair trade,
Homer
bro.
Simpson.
Yeah.
You ever seen him when he's like in hell
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a machine
Yeah.
forcing him to eat it, and he never gets tired. He's no,
yeah,
he
yeah.
never gets tired.
Yeah, that's funny. The 2025 Bonnaroo Music Festival kicks off today. If you care, mainly, well, it's a big mix-up. You know, a lot of pop and a little bit of country and rock thrown in. I think the biggest rock they got right now is Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, and they got Bill Murray on the lineup this year too.
Do they, Bill Murray?
Yeah, him and his brothers, I think, have a band, don't they?
Bill
Well,
Murray?
no,
Oh.
not the actor. No, there's a band called Bill Murray, but it's spelled Bilmuri.
Okay.
And they do that to kind of like play off the name.
Well, sure, obviously. That's funny.
But yeah, they do like the country metal thing, and it's so good.
Country metal's kind of starting to become a thing. That hard edge country sound.
Oh yeah, my buddies in Lakeview were pioneering that thing. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
And
yeah.
everything's just kind of running together. You know?
Well, you know, I said yesterday, country is 80s rock now.
Straight
Yeah.
up.
I mean, it's
Straight
really what it is. I
we
mean,
need to jump ahead and be like gangster gospel. Or
yeah, you just want to fast forward and see what it's going to morph into.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's it, Thugs for Christ.
Yeah.
What up? T for C.
Exactly.
Keep it bitten, Mike said. Okay, let's see what else is going on here real quick. You don't care about that. No, don't care about it. How about this? No, you don't care about that. Nearly 400 protesters jailed in Los Angeles since the beginning of the protest over the weekend. Some crowds were blocking the freeway, torching robo-taxis and hurling objects at officers. So now they have a curfew in place. They've got, the guard down. It's just not good.
If you got a sign, you're protesting. If you're breaking into Macy's,
Well, we played a clip yesterday, and again, you know me, I don't like to drag my show at least down with politics because everybody just argues. I mean, no matter where you go, you can't get enough of it. It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Right.
Let me just watch anything without that. But I did play a clip that was the most insane thing maybe in the news I've ever seen in my life because it was so nonchalant, so casual, but they were showing the quote protest, and the person said, you just don't know if you want to bring more law enforcement in. Look, I mean, it's just some kids watching cars burn, having a good time. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean kids having a good time watching cars burn? What are you talking? That's called a riot.
Yes.
When you light cars on fire. No. Somebody needed that car to get to work, you asshole.
slamming bricks into cop cars.
Yeah. No, they're just, just watching heads open up of police officers. No big deal, having a good time. Yeah, no, that's crazy stuff to me, man, when you're just casually talking about it like it's nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no.
I'm all for everybody protesting anything.
No,
that they-
protest.
for
I'm
sure.
all about it. Protest the hell out of it.
No doubt.
But when you start lighting cars on fire and looting businesses,
Hurting people, yeah.
you're hurting the very people that you're supposed to be.
Yep.
And I always, what's that? Home of the emotional support horse.
Talking about the Dale's Donuts, they're
Oh.
talking about like if we bought it and then renamed it to like Horse Donuts or something.
Oh my! I don't think anybody'd come. Yeah, but that's a funny marketing idea, though. Yeah, if I just had unlimited money, I would buy that and just work there.
Yeah.
That's why you would never hear from me again. I'd be busy with donuts the rest of my life. That might be my dream job.
No, what would happen is you would buy the building and then you would put like a whole like just multimedia complex in there.
Yeah.
You could make movies
And
like
donuts.
content. Yeah.
And
like
donuts,
that.
yeah. We make donuts, music, and movies. That's right.
Speaking of the riots and stuff, I saw they were right in front of Dale's Donuts in L.A., which is one of my favorite spots there.
There's a Dale's
it's-
Donut in L.A.?
I mean, the famous one,
Oh, okay.
The,
with
one
the
that's
big
in all the
iconic
movies
sign.
and-
Yeah.
and they were Had a cop car on fire out in front of it.
No, that's great.
Peaceful protest.
No, that's great. That's your tax dollars at work right there.
Man.
I love it. I love it. The U.S. has told non-essential workers and their families to leave the embassy in Baghdad, plus bases in Bahrain and Kuwait. There's unrest in the region, and really it's because Israel says, hey, we're about to smoke the nuclear facilities for Iran. So you might want to leave because that's what we're about to do.
Yep.
At least that's the word on the street. I don't know. I'm not there. So,
What a tough conflict, man.
man, it is a tough conflict, isn't it? Yeah, but it's been going on since damn near, it's maybe the longest
Always.
running war in history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, these are not, okay, here we go. Let's go with this. Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit passes 2 billion views on YouTube.
Oof, the royalty check off that's got to be wild.
Took a quarter of a century. Their video for Smells Like Teen Spirit just reached the 2 billion views mark, first made available there in 2009. The breakthrough track crossed the billion views 10 years later in 2019, and 6 years later, now it's 2 billion views. So that's pretty good. First billion 10 years, the second billion 6 years.
Unreal.
And that second billion's almost even a little bit more impressive too, with the way like content's moving to like short form content.
Oh,
now.
right.
Like everything's so like keep it under a minute to have it on TikTok or keep it under 30 seconds.
Let me ask you this question, and I do. There's a handful of Nirvana songs I really got down to, but for the most part, I wasn't just a huge fan. I mean, I thought they were okay, you know. But a lot of people are very passionate, and clearly 2 billion views says people love that song for sure. Yeah. What was it about that song that made it that big?
Man,
what do you think it is?
Man, I think the way they look and their attitude towards the record company at the time, because that was,
kind of the middle finger to the record
down
company.
The big hair and the lipstick and all that bullshit.
Yeah. All the glam.
Yeah,
They were glam killers.
Absolutely, and they still had good songs. It's hard to deny.
No, that riff,
Plus,
that
punk,
opening riff.
Punk never really had its time until then.
Well, I would say that riff is one of the most identifiable starting riffs in the history of music, at least rock music for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, from 2 notes, or maybe 1 even for some, but by 2 notes, you know exactly what it is, and you're ready.
Far from my favorite Nirvana song, whether it was popular or not, it just wasn't one of my favorite ones, but I do think the guys are badass, and it's terrible, man. How many people have we lost? All the Seattle guys are going to be.
Oh yeah, they're all in the 27
like the only
club.
one left.
Yeah, and he's almost the get off my lawn guy at this point.
He is.
He just is. He's not quite. They're not quite as tight, maybe as they. They're a touring band. I mean, they're like Fish was, or who was the original OG, the one that Fish kind of patterned after. What's that band?
The Grateful Dead.
Yeah, the Grateful Dead. They're like that. I mean, people just follow them tour to tour to tour to place to place. Yeah, I mean, they're very
My
beloved.
wife's nuts about Pearl Jam.
Really?
Just nuts.
That's her thing, man.
If it's up later, if I go to bed before she does, she'll be in there just cranking. Playing over and over and over and over and over.
New stuff or older stuff?
Both.
Both. Okay.
She is.
Like 10 was a 10 out of 10 album to me.
It is wicked.
1992, same year as the Chronic. Pearl Jam and the Chronic came out the same year.
Man, I'm kind of weird when it comes to the Seattle stuff. So many people like every single song, like Alice in Chains, one of my favorite bands ever. But they have songs I hate. They've got 2 or 3 that I just can't stand.
Me too.
And most bands, if you can keep me for every single song, that's just rare.
There aren't many albums at all that do that, and so you talk about. I think about that sometimes. The perfect albums, the ones that you'll listen to every song on it without question. Dark Side of the Moon might be one.
Back in Black. When Back in Black came out. Of course, this is my older brother was playing. It was 80.
Yeah. Now that was Led Zeppelin 4, even though it's played out.
Yes.
But Zepp 4, the whole album. There was nothing on it that you didn't love.
Yep.
There's a handful of those albums out there that, but
some
most
of the
of the
Tool
time,
albums, I didn't even know the names of the songs because they just started.
no, you start a Tool album now, and sometime in 2027 it'll end. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
Don't go to a tour concert because you'll wake up 10 years later and be bald with 2 grandkids.
Actually, one of my favorite. I remember this story about you specifically in Tool.
Yeah.
I was when you were at the other place. I remember being in my truck one day.
Yeah.
And it was when Tool dropped the 11-minute
Oh, yeah.
song. And I
Yeah.
remember you were talking so much trash about them getting I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about them getting an
An
11-minute song
11-minute song
radio.
on air. Do
Yeah.
you know what they had to broker to do that, to launch a full 11, not the edited radio version, and we played that for a month in the 11-minute variation. I was like, man, I'd go take 2 craps and get coffee and call my friends, take a nap, and get back up, and it'd be the end of the song. You know what I mean?
Some more guys that snub their nose at the, what everybody,
definitely
what everybody
did.
thought
Yeah, definitely. And
music company should be.
And he's one of those, one of those guys that small man syndrome, but turned it into something powerful.
Yeah.
Because his voice is way bigger than he is. He's not a big guy.
They're unreal, man.
Man, they are, and their bassist is phenomenal.
Yeah, they're and his other band, Perfect Circle. I love them
Oh,
too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who do you like better? Do you like him better or Corey Taylor?
I'm biased. I got to go Corey since he's
Yeah.
a homie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back and forth, but I
Yeah.
do like both. Obviously, I like Slipknot, but what's his side project?
Oh, Stone Sour.
Stone
Love
Sour.
Stone Sour.
Yeah, they're a little more melodic.
Yeah, they're like they're a little more commercial, and that's cool. I dig it. Like I like to. I mean, I write country songs. I write metal songs.
Right.
You know,
You appreciate all genres.
I really do.
It's always amazing. That's one of the things when I would interview some of the rock stars, I would ask them, what's a song that you're listening to or an artist you're listening to that would surprise people? Because I know for a fact, just from being around the music scene, and being around so many hard rock people, that they all have something on the side that they vibe with that's not at all rock,
Sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll put it to you this way: my most listened to artist on Apple Music last year was Teddy Swims.
Teddy Swims,
cool.
that's a great artist, man. What a great voice.
No doubt.
He was my first show I ever saw at the Ryman. in
Really?
Nashville. Yeah, so I
badass.
pulled up. It was him, Ellie Dew, and then Marin Morris showed up too.
Okay.
And man,
love
that
Maren
show
Morris,
was
too.
just insane.
I did like looking at her. I know that.
And she's another one of those that, is she country? Is she?
Yeah, she's a
crossover?
crossover
Yeah,
type.
really
She's
is.
one of those more, swifter type.
Yeah.
You don't know what it really is. What's
Does
it?
Taylor Swift even play music anymore?
She
Does she still play football for the?
Yeah, I think her boyfriend was playing football. I don't know. I'm not sure. What's his name? It doesn't matter what his name is, does it?
Not to me.
Is Wu-Tang one that you really do like on the side?
It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I like Wu-Tang.
Man, I like a lot of, like you were talking about the old gangster rap.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff, and it's weird now because you can't say the N word for anything. And I mean, back in the day, we just did it. I'd be riding around with my black buddies, and we just.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it was a different era, I
Yeah.
mean, we talk about that sometimes. Not that I'm saying you should or any. I'm not making commentary on that, but I'm saying that, in the '80s, we had come out out the other side. It got spit out in the '80s, and everybody was cool with everybody. It was like, hey, we're just cool. Everybody's good. Everybody's got differences. We'll poke fun at them. We'll have a good time, and we just roll on. And so I grew up like you did, steeped in rap. I mean, as much as any other art form, that was as present or more present than any art form. So it definitely put DNA on me.
the fact that they couldn't play it on the radio just
Right.
made us
made
wanna
it
play
much
even
more desirable.
If I got Ronnie James with me, we're an unstoppable comedy
Yeah.
team. I mean,
Yeah, no.
we couldn't do it on stage, but
No.
we can make a parking lot full of
Yeah,
weirdos
right.
that-
And that's what I'm saying is that, but over time, people, the woke happened, and it changed things for people, and so you just got to roll on. You just roll the hell on.
It's like
But-
saying "gosh" instead of
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. I understand. But yeah, when NWA was able to have a massive hit album that never played on the air until years after, they might have played 2 years after it launched. They might have played
bits and pieces. Of
yeah,
one that
they
didn't
cut
have
it,
much.
just edit it down to nothing.
Right.
A song that they had,
Straight
but that
Outta
was
Compton,
it. Yeah, straight
maybe.
out of Compton, edited down to nothing.
Right.
Beep,
beep,
yeah, that's
beep.
right. But people were eating it up, man. I mean, they couldn't get enough of that album, man. Straight Outta Compton changed the whole
Selling
game.
cassettes out of the
Yeah,
back of your
no,
car.
man, I used to sell cassettes on my street. What are you talking about? At my
sure.
school. Man, as soon as I got, my parents thought just because I love music, I wanted a cassette-to-cassette boombox. but I got a cassette-to-cassette boombox so I could burn them off and sell them to everybody.
Yep.
You know, I was slinging Van Halen and the Beastie Boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's see what everybody's saying here real quick. Just pause. Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. What's going on here? Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Brandon, check our chat real quick, would you? Search for Land of Mines and Tidal Wave, little doggy says.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, search for that.
on there.
Katy Perry tops Swift hands down, Jim says. Do you think Katy Perry beats Taylor Swift? Do you care?
Man, not really.
No? Okay.
I do think she's awesome. I mean, I
Which
listen
one?
to a lot of pop, Katy Perry.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a lot of respect for
Something
Taylor Swift.
happened.
I mean, she came into Nashville with 400 songs,
Yep.
broke, and now she's like making $50,000 an hour or something crazy.
She, some reason people don't like her all of a sudden. Like everything just, the tide turned on her real hard.
We were saying it earlier, man. Success has enemies. Nobody.
But
wants
why
to
her?
know.
What
I don't know.
made it with her? You know, why did because she was everything everywhere and everybody loved her and then all of a sudden they didn't.
I don't know. Yeah, it's gone from everybody kind of liking her to now you have to be like a 10 or 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, yeah.
like her.
No, it's kind of like, you know, for years nobody wanted to admit Nickelback was a band they listened to, yet the albums kept selling and still do.
Nickelback is a
Straight up.
badass band.
Well,
If
they
you-
finally
if you
circled
deny
back.
it, you're probably in a band that sucks.
Yeah, they have you know, circled back around now, and all of a sudden it's in vogue to be
Yeah.
down with what do you call it? Divorced Dad Rock.
Divorced Dad
I
Rock.
do love that title.
Yeah. Divorced Dad Rock. So Nickelback, who else would fit that category?
You know, like Creed, Shinedown.
Yeah.
Creed used to
like-
catch it. Yeah.
Oh,
Collective
yeah.
Soul probably might
Oh,
slide in that
100%.
category. Those guys are underrated, man. They're a great band, man. They're still putting out good music. I like them.
Oh, they're killer. I think I seen them at one of the Danny Wimmer fests a few years
Did
back.
you?
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just basically anything in that early 2000s world.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's do this. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back. All right.
I'm still fucking wrecked. Can't believe it's true. Never thought my soul would be crushed by you. I remember you standing there, telling me about how you care, that you'll stand by me anytime, anywhere. But that all changed at 9:07 p.m. Wouldn't believe you'd betray me until I walked in. In just a few seconds, you burned me to the core. You didn't even bother to close the door. Maybe I should have guessed by the way you dressed. Should I have gotten bent because you wore a new scent? I just figured maybe you were bored. Just my imagination. I thought I should just ignore. But that all changed at 9:07 p.m. Wouldn't believe you'd betray me until I walked in. In just a few seconds, you burned me to the core. You didn't even bother to close the door. Now you're screaming, it's all my fault. You may appear to be a woman, but you're wrong. Looks about time. I guess the trash takes itself out. Nothing left to love but an old tattoo. But that all changed at 9:07 p.m. Wouldn't believe you'd betray me until I walked in. In just a few seconds, you burned me to the core. Watching the club door, low-key sitting on pins. Let me tell you what for. Where do I begin? How, where, when? Saw you last Saturday night, shaking it on the dance floor. Damn girl, that dress was tight. I wanna go to the candy store. Candy store. If turning me on is the goal, you understood the assignment. You didn't just break the mold. Baby, you're the blueprint. Walking, I can barely compute. You rockin' fishnet stockings and those red leather boots. If you're a door, you've got me knocking. Not 2 feet in and the men are like piranhas. Guys are stumbling, spilling their gin and sweating like the sauna. If turning me on is the goal, you understood the assignment. You didn't just break the mold. Baby, you're the blueprint. Here I come, girl, we're about to be needed. About to ask you to dance and I plan to leave undefeated. I don't have any clue what you plan for the night. I'm playing my hand for you. I just hope I play it right. If turning me on is the goal, you understood the assignment. You didn't just break the mold. Baby, you're the blueprint. Oh yeah, you're the blueprint. You're the blueprint spot print. You didn't break the mold. You're the blueprint.
All right, everybody, we are back. So lots of stuff going on in our comment section right now. And first of all, Andy, yes, come by the show. He said he might have some time to come by the studio. Well, come on by whenever you can, man. Yeah, you know you're welcome here anytime, man. We're going to set up another round of roulette. You need to go. For sure, man.
For the range.
Yeah, did you hear about
yeah.
that? How they do roulette?
Oh, dude, yeah, no, I think he told me on one of the comment sections on one of the other
Yeah, man,
episodes.
it's you know what it is. He's got a big range, a private range, and so he'll set up. He's a real evil person, okay? So he'll take like a gallon or two of chocolate milk, leave it out all day, you know, like Thousand Island dressing, things like that. Then you line it up, and so he's got this 50 pistol, you know, and you put one in like roulette, and you sit right in front of it and you shoot, and whoever it,
Yeah.
you know,
Somebody's gonna get it.
somebody's gonna get it, and you just keep doing it. So it's a hell of a lot of fun, man. That's great.
I'll tell you what I need to do. I just picked up there's a revolver that Taurus makes that shoots 410.
Oh yeah,
I need to bring that one out there too. I hadn't got
man,
to shoot
yeah,
it yet.
like a shoddy pistol.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, it shoots a 410 shotgun shell inside of a revolver.
I want to say either a 38 or a 357. I want to say one of those will shoot a 410 as long as the chamber is deep enough, or vice versa, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I bet the 410 you've got will shoot one of those rounds. I'm just not sure.
I know it'll do a 45 long Colt.
I was gonna say, don't take my word
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Do your research.
Yeah, it was so
Boom.
It's so much fun to go out there because he had, man. If you saw the video, it's just a buffet of weaponry to choose from,
Yeah.
and we were shooting all kinds of stuff like the what's the BFG.
Yeah.
Basically, we had the BFG out there shooting with that.
cool.
I mean, it's just everything, man. It was so much fun. I love doing stuff like that.
I'm a gun lover. Yeah.
Are you?
I've got a pretty good pile of guns at the house.
Do you? You two carry a little protection, right?
Oh yeah. I'm a collector, if you will. I was actually just talking to Alex. I guess did we talk about it last night at dinner? No, we talked about it another time. But I was telling him about Andy's range and all that, and he's wanting to come out to the range too and all that now. So we'll have to just like set up a whole day where Vantage goes out there and film some content and all that.
It's funny when people who, and maybe it's not just our region, but you know, I think more people on the coast and stuff, they're not comfortable with weapons. You know what I mean? And so apparently,
Scared of them. Yeah.
this has been viral on TikTok where a creator went to Texas and apparently saw a sign and it triggered them. The sign said, we don't call 911, and it has a picture of a handgun and says protected by, and that was triggering to them, and they were going on about it. But that's the mentality of Texas, and matter of fact, that's the mentality probably of our
South,
state.
yeah.
Just about anywhere you go, it's like, you're not going to have to call 911. We'll take care of business right here in the house.
I was with Ron somewhere, and he was blowing somebody's mind by telling me. He said, "Yeah, in Arkansas, you can buy a truck and they'll give you a shotgun."
Yeah, that's that.
They were like, "What?"
That does happen, man.
It
That
does.
absolutely
That's
does.
That's a great.
No, we were just talking to the our boys, or Tyler actually. Noah wasn't there at the time, but we were talking to Tyler about the differences in when we went to school and him going to school.
Oh, man.
And
Like the shotgun racks. And
yeah,
trucks
that's
and all
exactly
that.
what we were talking about,
Yeah.
because he couldn't believe that we could drive up to school and have a pickup truck with shotguns in the actual rack in the back, and you just park and walk in, and there was no big deal to it. And it never happened ever.
Yep.
Nobody ever took it out.
Yep.
No, they just didn't. So it was different then. Obviously you couldn't do that now, and I'm not saying you should, but it was wild that when I think about it, that we could pull up and just have those in there like that. Let's see. My little doggy said, "My Glock in this chair." Yeah, that's all I need. My Glock in this chair. Are you guys fans of like the comic book superhero movies at all?
Oh yeah.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Are you an OG, like a Superman, Batman kind of guy at all?
I do like Batman a lot.
Yeah.
When I was 5, I wanted to be two things, and one was Elvis Presley, and the other was Batman.
Both admirable. I'll be
Yep.
honest with you. Both out of my league. But yeah, I just watched the trailer for the new Superman movie, and I was kind of skeptical until I saw the trailer, and I was like, it looks pretty good.
Well, they got James Gunn doing it too.
Yeah,
So,
and I saw that the pre-sales are the highest in history ever for a movie that they've had so far through the pre-sales of Fandango, I guess is where it is.
Did you ever see that? Man, they almost made a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you
You ever
see?
it's like the
Yeah.
death of Superman.
What was
Lives
it
or
in
something
that?
Weird?
Was it in the
two.
Batman one, or where was it that they had the Nick Cage version of Superman recently?
Well, so 2
strange.
years ago it was in Flash.
Flash, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
Yeah, 'cause Flash was like a multiverse.
Yeah, the
movie.
multiverse thing,
Yeah.
and they put Nick Cage in there.
As Superman?
Yeah, as
Oh, wow.
Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that out.
yeah. That actually, I didn't love that movie, but I liked a lot of the things they did in it, and they brought Michael Keaton back as Batman.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. They had Nick Cage Superman. They had some other things in there.
George Clooney.
They had several different things in there where they either brought him back or did something cool. Yeah.
I agree with you, little doggy. Spider-Man's the GOAT. The Tobey Maguire one specifically.
Spider-Man can beat up the Hulk. My superhero's better. Yeah, Spider-Man ultimately is. I mean, if I just was put a gun to my head and I got to take one, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
for
for
sure. Yeah, he's a good smartass, and that's why I liked him so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Spider-Man No Way Home that came out a few years
The
back.
one
with
where
all three of them.
Yeah, I would think grown men were probably tearing up.
I was
in the
ugly
audience.
crying in the
Yeah,
rave,
when
bro.
the three, you got
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, and Andrew Garfield all in one swoop there,
Yeah.
Spider-Man and together,
Yeah.
and you can see grown men, just woof,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
No, I'm one of those. I'm a crier during movies, man.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I can't watch Armageddon without bawling my eyes out.
Harry Stamper, he's he's never missed it in his life. Yeah.
When I have a couple of beers, a song will make me cry. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
straight up. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it's
it's-
songs, movies, and
I think when
Somebody's
you get
somebody's dead.
Yeah,
I mean,
when you
that's
get
about it.
older, it starts to happen, and you don't want it to. But yeah, the right commercial.
remember
and I'm
where I
like, no, come on, man, I'm not tearing up at a commercial. What just happened to me?
I'll tell you what music video just completely destroyed me a little while ago. You've probably seen this one, but Mammoth, WVH, Eddie Van Halen's son Wolfgang has a band.
Yeah.
And the first song they put out was one that was called Distance.
Yeah, that's a great
That is
song,
bad.
and it was a moving video actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote it like for his dad, and the music video is all just home footage of him and his dad growing up.
absolutely, man. I just love his whole writing style. I'm so proud of him for not
For not being a
sounding like
clone.
Van Halen. Yes.
Yeah, no, he's not a clone
It
at
is
all. But
really
he's got
good
a new
stuff.
track out, doesn't he? A recent
Yeah.
track that was pretty hit.
He
Pretty
does,
big.
man. And one of the things that I love that Wolfgang's doing, man, he's using Alter Bridge's producer, Elvis.
Yeah.
And man, I forget how to say his last name. It's like Liberace or something like that.
How does the industry view him?
Wolfgang?
Yeah.
Oh, was one of the goats.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
They
yeah.
really they're down. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He can
and it's-
play like his dad. And
Yeah, well, no, he
sing
has all the
better
skill.
Yeah.
Do they do pretty damn well out there on the road and,
Yeah, I mean,
and all
they were
that?
just doing runs with Metallica and Guns N' Roses. I mean, he can get on a stadium run
Yeah, I
anytime
don't think
he
he's
wants
afraid
to.
of anything.
No,
Yeah.
I know he's not afraid of anything. I just didn't know how much people were embracing the music.
Oh yeah, and even when he's doing like a headliner run of his own stuff, he can fill out probably a 12 to 1,500 cap room easy, like
Yeah.
without thinking. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like he could come over here to the hall. and
Oh,
not
I'm
think
sure he
twice
could.
about it.
I would
Yeah.
think he'd come to Verizon here, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, he's for sure at least in like the direct support era
Yeah.
for Verizon. You know what I'm saying? It would still probably take
Probably be
one other act
another
behind
band,
him. Yeah, but like as far as like him doing a headliner, he could crush the hall.
Do you see him or them, however you look at it? I mean, he really is the band, if you're being honest. But do you see him reaching that level of stratosphere where that he will be headlining like that? Or
I could see it happening, man. You know, he first came out with stuff in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and I remember he was having stuff. Literally, his second single got premiered on Howard Stern of
Yeah,
all places, and
yeah.
I said 5 years ago that he was going to be the dude to start bringing rock back to the forefront.
yeah,
And if you look at everything now, like rock is absolutely on its way back to the forefront.
it's certainly moving that direction now.
Yeah,
You know,
you know what I mean?
and the surprise to me with rock right now is, we did retro back to a lot of the not as hard stuff, but also at the same time, you've got this stuff that kind of goes back and forth between melodic and just grind, scream,
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
So it's like this fusion of the older hard rock and the newer metal.
Straight up.
Is that kind of? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of that.
Agreed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And like genre just doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's all just
it's all
blending
bleeding over.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most surprising duo, artists that have worked together in the past couple of years for you?
Ooh, let me think.
Because there've been a lot of unique mashups and people working together.
Let me think on that.
Morgan Wallen's worked with a few people.
Oh, yeah,
You got
he's
some
crushing
rockers
it,
working with
yeah.
people now. Country and rock are working together.
You know, I tell you what, man. There's a band. They were just in Nashville. They were just here in Little Rock too with Shinedown. But I'm Beartooth.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
They have a track out with Hardy, and it's a killer track.
Really?
Yeah.
Beartooth and Hardy?
It's
I
called
bet
The
that
Better
is
Me.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you ask Alex what his two favorite bands are, it's Hardy and it's Beartooth. So
Really?
whenever he found out about that, he was like, "Oh my
No,
God."
he was super excited.
Oh,
Wasn't he? Yeah,
yeah.
Beartooth's pretty great. They really are. They're kind of almost a retro hard rock metal band, right?
I still remember seeing them 10 years ago. They played MF Metal.
Yeah.
They literally packed
That's cool.
200
downtown?
people. Well, no, the one in Bryant, right there next to Goodwill.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
played
there. It's
MF
a
Metal.
records, a little bitty.
Really?
It's like playing in here. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nothing. Yeah.
small spot.
I played my very first show at MF Metal. Funny enough,
Really?
Like I remember there was like ice on the ground and all that, and my mom had to drop me off at the show and all that because there was ice on the ground and there was probably 20, 30 people there at the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Mike
heard
said they
my-
were at
my
the
first
village
episode.
somewhere.
My first pig squealing band there.
Oh, I believe it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't know. I was
What
telling-
is
I was
a
telling
pig
friend of mine,
squealing
He was
band?
like,
like
say
the-
that again. I was like,
Oh.
there's this new kind of like, people used to go,
Oh, yeah.
And now these guys are like literally,
Do they really?
and they're saying stuff. That they call it pig squealing. I mean,
Yeah. See, and I guess, look, to each their own. I typically I like to understand the words of the
it's
songs
some
I
of the
listen
heavier
to.
metal out there. Right?
Yeah,
It's like
no,
still speed, thrash, something.
Yeah, there's a
brought
certain
in
point
there.
where I get to about the edge of Disturbed, and I start I don't know, it starts to get me a little bit.
I can take a little screaming. I do.
A little bit.
I like. It's got to be a melody somewhere,
Yeah.
sometime.
Oh, here's something that, by the way, I'll mention musically. I don't know if you guys care or don't care, but there's been a lot of criticism that I think unwarranted. But Lil Wayne dropped the Carter 6. And,
oh yeah, I need to go listen to it.
And some of the critics have been pretty harsh on him, but I'm going to be honest with you. I listened to it, and it's a banger. I mean, there's a handful of songs I didn't care for on it. There's a couple of but he's known to do avant-garde type weird things. I mean, that's who the cat is.
He's a freak, dude.
Yeah, and but man, it's a banger. I mean, if you like rock or rap, either one, I mean, you'll like it. It's pretty damn great.
I need to go listen to that one, man.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of like pop music that I've been listening to here. Like y'all would probably laugh if you were to be in my truck with me.
Yeah,
like,
why?
you would hear anything other than rock a lot of
Yeah,
times. Like,
sometimes, man, you got to, and not only that, if you're an artist, it's important to hear all the sounds and the productions that are incorporated into things because sometimes it's inspiring.
100%.
You know, you might hear something and go, man, I'd like to incorporate that element. You know, I could see where that would fit in something I'm doing, you know.
And on the way here, I was listening to a pop station out of Hot Springs.
Yeah.
And I heard a Shinedown, one of the new Shinedown songs that I've never even heard.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be on a rock station. I mean, it's literally, it was as straightforward pop as
Yeah.
I've ever heard them get.
Yeah, I think I know the track. I think I listened to
I think
it.
it's called 365.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Shinedown?
But I think
Yep.
they wrote it specifically to do that.
I mean, I was like, is there a guitar in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Shinedown, they're having their moment again. So with 365
Yes.
in particular, they right before this current album cycle of theirs, they had a single called "Symptom of Being Human."
Yeah.
And it was their first single to go to pop and mainstream radio since Second Chance back in 2009.
Wow.
And it wound
That
up
was a huge
crushing.
tune, too.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
dude, it was crazy big. And the story behind that whole record's crazy too. But like they had "Symptom of Being Human," last year. It crushed at pop radio. So now they're I think they're going to wind up doing the multi-genre thing where they put out a rock single congruently at the same time that they
As a
put out
pop single,
That's
yeah,
a great
yeah.
idea.
It is, and then they'll start, mashing over a little bit here and there. It's always interesting to see people's feedback on songs because, when I was at the other station, sometimes a band would want to do something that wasn't as in your face, and sometimes people are like, "Man, what is this shit, man? What is this?" And I'm like, "Ease up, player. They don't have to do all in your face all the time.
Yeah.
Give them a chance to be an artist."
He's been a singer in a band for a long time. I have too. I guarantee you've been in a band where people, I'd break out an acoustic guitar and everybody, no, you're going to ruin us.
Right.
We're going to be terrible. Everybody's going to laugh at. I mean,
Yeah.
next thing you know, you write the best song you ever had.
Yeah, it's something about that warped
Softening
vision
it
of people
all.
who think that if you listen or play anything that's less than Metallica, that somehow you're weak.
We've got to be hard. We've got to
Yeah,
be tough.
yeah.
mean,
I don't know what I don't know why people feel pigeonholed like that. Seems like you're doing yourself a disservice for all the music that's out there to enjoy.
The good news is it seems like that's kind of eased up a little bit, but what we run into now a lot of times is like you have to get something that like you have to strike the right balance of maintaining the heavy while being in a pop enough format to take to radio.
Yeah.
Even though radio's getting a little different now.
Yeah.
And like, half of it's terrestrial radio, but half of it's satellite radio and then
Yeah.
playlisting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like having to think about filming content and all that stuff too, like that's a whole other side of your brain that you have to learn and all that because with the way social media is now, people are visual and so they have to have something
Yeah, the key
visual
into
to
visually.
accompany what they listen to. And so that's been a whole kind of learning curve. It's fun stuff, but it's a learning curve.
Of course it is. Jay Sorsby said Nathan Best something about the smell. I don't know that one. I'm not. Are you familiar with Nathan Best?
Death Clock. Mikey's talking about Death Clock. Of course,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
those guys.
And Every Knee Shall Bow. I haven't heard about them in a minute. Yeah, they were crushing back
Little Doggy said even Kiss did Beth. Yeah, sadly they did.
True that. It's one of their biggest hits.
It is, but is it bad? I mean, it's good, but it's bad. If it came out today, people would be like, "What the hell is this, man?"
Yeah.
But man, it is a huge hit. Or it was a huge hit for. I guess it still prevails, doesn't it?
It might even be their biggest hit ever.
It
I'm not
may
sure.
be.
Some
Or
of
that or
that's-
rock and roll, one of them.
Some of that stuff from the 80s still crushes. Like, Def Leppard and Nickelback used the same producer for a long time.
Did they really?
Yeah, Mutt Lange.
I didn't know that. Mutt Lange.
Mutt Lange did
Mutt Lange did
Yeah.
Shania. He was the 80s.
Yeah.
Mutt Lange was
Yeah,
Def
those
Leppard,
big
Shania
drums,
Twain.
all those big,
Yeah, he did. He was doing so many genres. He was just crushing back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Joey Moy's done a lot of the Nickelback stuff too, which Joey Moy did Florida, Georgia, Nickelback, Morgan Wallen, Hardy, like all that stuff.
I
and
saw.
he's crushed.
I don't know. I pulled up the charts a couple days ago just because sometimes I'll pull up the top 40 just to see who the new artists are, and I couldn't help but notice that Morgan Wallen was like half of the top 40.
Oh yeah, because he like his newest record he just put out. Yeah, he put in, I think it's a 37 track record.
Well, I think he was trying to get all of them in there at the same time. I don't know if he did,
Yeah.
but man, it looked like half of them were in there for sure. I was like, man, that's wild that you can, because used to be, I mean, think about it. When we were kids, they'd put out a single and then that would ride for months until the next single came out. I look at Def Leppard Hysteria and there were 6 or 8 singles, half the album singled one at a time, and it's crazy now that they just drop them all at once and they all spring up into the charts,
Straight up,
Do songs stick around on the charts the same way they used to, or did they have a faster cycle now?
Man, it's really kind of case by case now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Mike's pointing out that Shania's, she married.
I forgot about
married
that.
Money.
Yeah,
That's how she made
Yeah,
it.
and even though he's not married to her, he still celebrates that every day he walks around. Yeah, I did do that.
Yeah.
I sure did. In the prime.
You got that money too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what matters, but I'm still thinking,
Oh yeah.
in her prime, Shania Twain
hot
was the
right
hottest
now.
commodity on
She's
the.
hot right now.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, we're old dudes. I mean, so yeah, of course she's hot. When you start seeing 45-year-old chicks, you're like, man, she's pretty banging. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on here with me? I don't even understand. All right, speaking of that, let me play you guys. Let's do a little music thing right here.
Oh, is this the one you were telling me
Yeah,
about?
this is going to be. We'll play the newest track that I've dropped in rock.
Okay.
And we'll just listen to it and see what you think. All right. Does that sound all right? Is it fair to do? All right.
Change is good, it's how we evolve. Friday changed to Saturday, like April morphed into May. It's only revolution that changes night into day. So why is change a bomb, a shrapnel from the trauma? Fragments deep inside, unhealed and leaking drama. Reposition.
Good chorus, I think.
Twist yourself until you can't.
I like this.
You can't
Yeah.
escape change when it's the only constant. It's not the camera, but the lens. Your field of vision opens. Unaware of this, it's taken many wise men. In darkness, flowers may grow there, but much easier to raise a nightmare. If you're on a sinking ship, you have to leave the deck chair.
Got to get a little grind under it, doesn't it?
It's nice.
Reposition, rearrange, twist yourself until you can't, but you can't escape change when it's the only constant. Storms give way to sun, no other way it's done. Resist with all you have, it's all bullets and no gun. Walking headfirst into fire, it's the very thing required. Don't worry about damage, it will all be rewired. Reposition,
Yep.
rearrange, twist yourself until you can't, but you can't escape change when it's the only constant. The only constant is change. The only constant is change. The only constant is. The only constant is. The only constant. Change. The only constant is change.
Not bad.
What's not to like?
I'll tell you I'll tell you who it reminds me of, and you'll probably remember these dudes
Yeah.
from the other place. But you remember Red Sun Rising?
Oh yeah.
That 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
was
Hey,
like,
I never thought about that, but yeah, that's a good band too. I appreciate that. That's fair. That's a good.
wicked.
yeah.
Yeah, not bad for just something you're doing at the house. putting
Continually
together.
blow my mind with all this. But you send these country songs you send me, I'm like, wow.
I think I had. Hold on. I don't know if it's even here right now. Let me look and see.
It's funny listening to that one we just did. I felt like I was
a banger.
back
Hold
in
on.
the Metroplex listening to like Aranda
Right.
or Red Sun
Yeah,
Rising
yeah.
or something like that. You know what I
Let me
mean?
see if that
Miranda,
one is
I haven't
even
done it in a while.
Yeah.
on here. I don't know if I've uploaded it yet. When you talk about country, hold on.
I missed the Metroplex, man. That was such a cool spot.
Yeah, it's a lumber yard.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
see here. Here is the more. I think this is the one that's got some country type. If I can find it.
Yeah, dude, that was a great tune.
Thank you, man. Hold on a second. See,
Fat
it's
drums.
it's so it's all. These are all just. Oh, here's a country metalish rock.
Oh,
It's Friday, just lowered the jacks, bumped the key to make her growl. But feels good to have my wheels back. Now we're out on the prowl. Rev it up as soon as we hit the light. Turn the speakers to 11. We're headed
A bunch of
into
country
the
girls
night.
dancing and-
Dice all coming up sevens. T-tops popped on the red Z28. Everybody can hear us coming. My girl outside looking like kidnapped babe. Oh hell yeah, you know I'm running. Cranking
I like
up
this.
Cashmere like we never heard it before. Catching tight curves here with the gas on the floor. Tearing across the city to make the show on time. We the smoke down committee and we on that high climb. Roll another one. T-tops popped on the
Yeah, it's pretty good for country type rock.
Definitely.
You know. Anyway, let's.
that production
Florida
is
Georgia
solid
line,
too.
it
Yeah.
It is.
Good stuff.
Thank you, man. Let's do. We need to get into doing something for my sponsors here. So. If you're looking for a vehicle, you know where to go. Fitz Auto is the place to go. Now, you can go online at fitzauto.com or you can go in person, 8421 Stagecoach Road in Little Rock. What makes them different? What makes them special? Well, they work with you regardless of your credit history because they're their own bank. They don't have to ask anybody else. It's up to them who they work with. And they have late model, low mileage vehicles. They're going to save you money. They're going to put you in something you can be proud of. And it doesn't matter, sports car, truck, SUV, boat, RV, camper, amphibious units. They've got motorcycles, anything you could possibly want on wheels and an engine. They've got it there for you. Check them out, fitzauto.com. Start there, in there. It's where you're going to go because it's the best deal. Josh Taylor over at First Horizon just did it again. I just had another first-time home buyer, a couple who got into a home. Literally, they paid $500 to get into this home. That's right, $500 total dollars is what they paid to get into their new home. Why? Because First Horizon Bank has grant money that they offer, whether it's income-based, you're a professional, or a first responder. They have grant money for all of that, and it can help pay your down payment, your closing cost, and more. Josh is good people. He's just like you and I, and he can help you out. Look, you want to get into a house for $500? Yeah, Josh Taylor's the guy to call. 351-2579. It's 351-2579. Josh Taylor over at First Horizon Bank, and you tell him that Patrick sent you, all right?
Completed me, but I think I still have one fear. I'm not afraid of being married or of even having kids, but before away we get carried, there's something I may have hid. Maybe it was the margarita, but I'd never disrespect our loving. But to be real, it's gotta get heated. Gotta hit you with that Dutch oven. Dutch oven. Oh God. Oh God, that's brutal. Damn, you're so beautiful, but you need to get a whiff of me. That's why it's so critical you experience my anal symphony. Unsuspecting, you're lying right there. Something evil from my poop chute is born, acting like I don't have a single care. I ask, do you smell popcorn? Maybe it was the margarita, but I'd never disrespect our loving. But to be real, it's gotta get heated. Gotta hit you with that Dutch oven. Dutch oven. Ain't no spray can stop this. I'm sorry if you feel this is a bad crime scene. It's not a terrorist attack. I'm just steaming the beans. I'd let go of the covers, but I'm just unable to risk it. I just filled it up with another hot air biscuit. Hot and ready. I'd never disrespect our loving, but to be real, it's gotta get heated. Gotta hit you with that Dutch oven. Dutch oven.
Yeah, here we are. We're coming back, banging the table, doing this and that and all that. Having a hell of a time this morning. Just what did it say? A whiny ass song? Yeah, it is a whiny song. It's about Dutch ovens, man. Do you know what that is? Get you some of that. I like to do stupid shit, Vorpal. Anyway. So tell me, when is your next show, man? Is it the marathon show?
It's the marathon one.
It is.
Yeah.
So what date is that again? Tell everybody, because it's in Nashville. It's not that far. What is it? 5 hours?
About 5 hour drive. Yeah, it's Saturday, June 28th.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be a fun one.
It's got you got a couple other bands on the ticket with you. Are pretty awesome.
Yeah. So how it'll go?
This guy's going to be there, of course.
Yeah, and I'll be pulling double duty on them. I'll be hopping on the bass for them. But the cool thing with this show, it's a different kind of format. It's actually a big cover show.
Okay.
And then halfway between the covers, Vantage will go up, and then Via will go up a little bit later on in the show. But essentially, what they do is they have this big amount of music kind of curated from the early 2000s, and every single song, it's a whole different set of musicians that go up and play it. Like there's like a house rig and all that,
cool.
and they all just go up there and alternate out each song.
Oh, it's just a house rig, so the set is just the set. I mean, so the drums, everybody plays the same drums, everybody plays the same everything.
Like you bring up your own guitars and all that. Now, like when Vantage and Via goes up, we've got our rigs that we're going to take up and all that. But other than that though, like it's going to be solid.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Now, Darrin, what about you guys? When is the next show that you guys have?
I'm actually asking my drummer right now if I
You
can
are?
share these dates.
Okay.
So I'm waiting. I mean, we definitely got some stuff coming.
You got
up.
stuff coming. You just don't know if you can announce
You already
it yet.
know about the thing in Vino's.
Yes,
it's gonna
I do.
be in September.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that,
That's going to
actually.
be a fun one. But we do have something coming up at Sticky's, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting here. They're wanting me to wait to.
Okay, that's
to
fine. But you
confirm
got
anything.
stuff coming up.
Definitely.
Yeah, so if they want to find out and know when you release that, where would they go find you?
We are on YouTube. Hit us up.
Well, why don't you tell them the name so they know?
Let's see, Death Metal Disco at
Yeah, there you go.
Death Metal Disco band at YouTube. I'm not.
Just
even
put in
sure.
Death Metal
I
Disco.
would
It's
think
going to
so.
come up.
I would
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
Surely there's not too many Death Metal Disco.
No, I don't know of any other Death Metal Disco,
hope
Darrin.
not.
I'm not familiar with any other one.
That was
When
the
I heard
brand.
that name, I was like, man, what a good name that is. I mean, such a weird, cool name. DMD.
And oddly enough, it's something we used to say that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It's just fun to say.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like I literally show up on a job and it's trashed or something and be like,
You should make
Death Metal Disco.
You
know?
should make one song to close with that is actually disco and death metal together.
Oh, we are definitely. Yeah, we're pushing disco
Yeah.
as hard as we. I just bought like 100 disco ball.
Yeah, you just have it where the last song every time it's all the disco balls start spinning, all that happens, disco music kicks off,
Definitely,
and it's
yeah.
straight metal with the disco beat, and that I bet everybody in the world would be singing that shit at the end, waiting on it to come.
That'd be
That'd be pretty epic to do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, maybe we can. I'll come in and jump in on that track.
For sure.
Oh no, you got to.
Do you a little bit.
Somebody's got to pick.
Yeah, no, straight up.
All right. Big thanks to Darrin and Luke coming in this morning and filling in for Rich. It took two guys to come in and cover you. I
Stoked
get
to
it.
be here.
Yeah.
No, we're so thankful to have you guys here. Anything that you guys wanted to share or promote before I want to get into this interview, because this interview coming up is just so amazing.
It sounds awesome.
It is, man. Chuck McConnell is the guy's name, and Chuck originally was from here. He's in Florida now. He's now a motivational speaker. He helps people. He's a mentor. His life has completely changed. But when I tell you that the man died on the steps of a church in Hot Springs, I mean that.
Yeah.
And his story is unbelievable. But what it's great about, we get so much negative in the news and everywhere in the world. It's good to see people who have overcome the worst obstacles in life and come out the other side. And it's really the first in the series that I call Reinvent Your Life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you start this way and you go, man, it's just time for a change, and you'll reinvent your life. And a lot of good stories to be told. And I've got a lot of them lined up. And this is the first one. Technically, I interviewed him 2 days ago. We had in the studio Mitchell Rutter, and he had a really compelling story yesterday as well. And so I don't want to short him, but I interviewed this guy before that, so it was the first in the series. But it's awesome. It's gonna take a minute to lay it out. But again, big thanks to you guys for coming out. I'm so thankful.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
All right, let's get to this interview with Chuck. I'm super excited about this. This is the first in our series that we've started, and the series is about uplifting yourself. It's turning your life around and reinventing yourself. Basically, the name of the series is Reinventing Life. And Chuck, that's something that you've done. Would you introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about your story?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm Chuck. I'm actually I actually came to Florida about 3 years ago from Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent my whole life in addiction. I grew up in what you would call an addiction culture. I was raised by a bunch of bikers, and my mom was an addict. So I learned from a very young age. I started using drugs, and this is going to sound horrible, around the age of 6.
No, it does sound horrible, but it is what it is, right?
It is what it is, man.
Right.
It is what it is. I spent most of my life doing drugs. By the time I was 9, I had actually experimented with methamphetamines, reached rehab by 11. And really, man, 3.5 years ago, I sent you some pictures earlier.
Yeah.
I found myself in Hot Springs, Arkansas on a church step across from Oaklawn, doing my last drug. And I was actually using methamphetamines, and somebody had put fentanyl in my meth, and I wound up dying right there on a church step.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was a pretty eye-opening event, man.
Kind of both, closing and opening there.
Yeah, I was actually saying a prayer. I grew up an atheist all my life, and I was saying a prayer in that moment. And I remember looking up, and I said, God, I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you love me, and I don't know if you can help me, but I don't know how to stop. And at that moment, I didn't, but it was the last time I ever got high.
Yeah. So let me pause just for a second to say, how old were you at that time?
49 years old.
So you managed to go 43 years immersed in addiction. Is that an accurate statement?
That is a very accurate statement.
And I'm going to assume that in the throes of those addictions, you probably experienced, if you're that type of addict, most variety of things that are out there at some point or another.
Every single thing you can think of.
I would imagine so. So at the point you end up here on the church steps, is it safe to assume that by this point, between drugs and decisions, that that life is at the bottom of the barrel.
Absolutely. I was sitting there and I remember I was like, I tell this story. I go to places and tell my story. I'm on stages all over the place now. And I remember I was ugly crying. Like I was homeless. I was in a stolen pair of coveralls that I just stolen. It was 32 degrees outside. And I was looking at my life and the value of life, just the quality of life that I'd had.
Right.
And I was like, there's got to be more to this. And I was just crying, man. And I couldn't understand how to get out of it.
He didn't really have a roadmap, I'm sure.
No, it was like I said, we're so as children, we're programmed. We were born into a world. We start being programmed from the moment we're here.
That's right.
And I mean, I just had some really bad programming. I never had a father. I never had a mother who did anything right. She did her best, but
wasn't conducive to good life.
No, I didn't know anything about finances, paying bills. Man, I mean, as far as cars go, I think I had a $650 car when I was 23. I may have had another car 10 or 15 years later. And yeah, it was just.
Let me ask a couple of other questions. Chuck, did you work during these times for that period of time off and on or?
A lot of off and on. I spent a lot of time in restaurants and bars, and that was really counterproductive to
Sure.
Trying to get any kind of life. I will say there was a time in the year 2000 where I was homeless and I was on the streets. I was on crutches. I'd been run over. And I had a moment of clarity there too. And I moved to Illinois and I wound up still using drugs, but I thought I could use like a gentleman.
Right, right. You could moderate it.
Yeah, I wound up going into the restaurant field with a lot of employee knowledge, but as a manager, and wound up succeeding a lot. But I was never out of that addict mindset. Wound up getting married, had 4 kids, and I'd had 2 kids prior to that too. Man, my story's so long, it's hard to tell.
No, it's this is what we're here for. So now let me before you go further, did you ever did drugs or decisions you made ever lead you to be incarcerated prior to this?
So much.
Yeah.
So much. So when I was 16, here's a funny one. When I was 16, drugs were so much a part of my culture that the first time I got arrested for marijuana, I didn't even know drugs were illegal.
Really?
Yeah, I say it's funny, but at the time it was just like, that's how bad it was.
Right.
I mean,
It was just so commonplace.
Yeah, it was the only thing that was familiar in my life. And I was raised, and you're from Arkansas, so,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you know where Sardis, Arkansas is?
Of course I do. Yeah, I'm from
Yeah, I
Stone
live
County.
way out in the woods on International Paper Company land.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't at school, I was out there. So it was any kind of laws or any kind of police that was alien to me.
Sure. Yeah,
So-
they just weren't around that area. Yeah. Now,
No.
when I ask about incarceration, was it just multiple times that you went to jail? Did you ever end up in longer term care via prison? Yeah.
Both.
How long did you, may I ask, how long were you in the penitentiary?
I did a 4-year sentence.
4 years.
I
And
wound up getting out on good time about a year after I got in. Luckily, I got smarter while I was in there and learned to avoid getting caught.
yeah.
It didn't really rehabilitate me. It just taught me how to.
So the time you were you in a minimum security, minimum security prison? Did you?
Yeah, there's a place down there called RPF.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to RPF. I actually wound up going to college while I was in there.
Okay.
And it's the reason I'm able to go to college now. I've spent the last 3.5 years in college being down here. So, but while I was in there, they sent me to Arkansas Baptist College. And I wound up getting a 4.0 GPA. And that's the first time I realized I might have a brain.
You might be intelligent somewhere under there. Yeah. So
yeah, I was like the scarecrow, you know,
right.
in the Wizard of Oz, if I only had a brain.
I get that. That makes sense. So let me just take a pause and say, we talk a lot on this program about improving the mill that is the judicial system at times, where people just recirculate through and recidivism is high. While you were there, you obviously took advantage of some education. Would you say that, did you feel in danger when you were there in general? And two, did you feel like you had opportunities to elevate yourself courtesy of the state or government?
In that setting, yes, there was a lot of opportunities, especially like they sent us to school. And in the DCC program, it's different from the Department of Corrections, Department of Community Corrections. They had like meetings come in, they had church services come in.
Okay.
They had different various programs during the day, but at the end of the day, those things aren't going to get people clean.
No, not if you don't want it.
No, it's something even you can even want it. Well, at least in my condition, there's got to be something greater than just wanting it, and that comes to what they call the God, the gift of desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I found in 2021 on that church step.
So
on November 21.
let's pick right back up there. You're on the church step, and you know the last time you use, and someone's tainted the methamphetamines with fentanyl. And as a result of that, you code. You die, literally.
Yeah.
And what happened then? Did someone just luckily come along with Narcan? I mean, what happened?
Absolutely, 100%. Like God answered that prayer.
Wow.
Like, look, I'm getting chills as we talk about
Man,
it.
you gave them to me, man. I'm like, how the hell did that happen?
I still don't know who the guy was, but I remember like he had broken a rib from resuscitating me. And when I woke up, I thought I was being robbed. Because he was my chest was hurting, and I was like, why was I out? And like he was like, man, you were turning blue, and then it started to come back. I remember the feeling coming over me, the itching from opiates, and he just happened to be walking by, found me dead, and happened to have Narcan on him. I woke up, there was needles sticking out my arm where he's putting the Narcan in me. I don't think he used the inhaler. I don't know. But
what would you call the odds on that one? I mean, 1 in a billion, 10 billion. I mean, I don't know. That's insanity.
An answered prayer. That's what you call that.
Okay. Hey, I'll buy it. I'll buy it at this point. So you get resuscitated. There you are on the steps of the church. Then what, man?
Well, I'll tell you, this is another one. This is big, Patrick. I was walking back to this guy's house that would let me stay on his couch every once in a while. I get back there and I'm laying on the couch, and I get a ding on Messenger. My phone only had Wi-Fi on it, and I look, and it's this girl named Erica Robertson, and she doesn't mind. I've already talked to her, so the name's fine. But I look at the phone and I'm like, who is this? So I look, and she said, hey, I've been watching you on Facebook. I want to help you. I know you're struggling. And I'm like, who is this? Well, I'm in Arkansas at this time, but this girl I dated when I was 14, living in Texas.
Oh,
I haven't heard, I was 17. I'm sorry. I haven't heard from her since then. And I'm like, who is this? And she said her real name or maiden name, Erica McGill.
yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Oh.
And she said, hey, I'm having surgery. I'm in Rogers, Arkansas, 4 hours away. I want you to come sit with me while I have surgery. And you ever heard that parable about the guy drowning, and he's praying to God and says, hey, God, help me, and a boat comes by?
Yeah.
And he says, get in, and the guy says no. Well, he eventually dies and goes to heaven.
Yeah.
He said, I thought you were going to help me, God. And God said, I sent you 2 boats.
Yeah, and a helicopter.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was my boat. I remembered that, and I was like, well, maybe this is my boat. Maybe this is, I don't want to miss the boat here.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you head up there.
So we get up
there
to Rogers, and I was groggy the whole time until I remember waking up in the hospital, sitting in the chair, and I was hearing the beeps. And when I was coming to, I was like, man, did I OD again? And I'm looking, and I look over, and I see her, and it still wasn't clicking because I was so faded and so gone. And she's like, Chuck, it's me, Erica. And I kind of looked down at the floor for about 10 minutes, and it started to come back. And I looked up at her, and I said, if I stay here, I'm going to die. And she said, I know, your phone was ringing about 10 minutes ago. And apparently I'd called some rehabs or something, but a lady had called back, and Erica answered my phone, and they had gotten me a plane ticket to South Florida.
Wow.
And I've been here ever since, man.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. So when you went to South Florida, what did you go to?
So I went to a rehab, and the first rehab I went to a detox first. Just believe I got in there and I was still messed up, but they put me on Suboxone.
Okay.
And because I tested for opiates because of the fentanyl. So they
Right.
put me on Suboxone. Well, I was all messed up on Suboxone. They took us to the pharmacy. I wound up stealing some stuff and they wound up kicking me out and sent me to another detox.
Oh, wow.
I went to that detox. They sent me to a rehab called Recovery by the Sea. And then they sent me to a halfway. When that halfway, I'm sitting there taking this Suboxone and I get another enlightenment. I'm like, man, I'm just running back to addiction.
Yeah.
And I just let the Suboxone run out. And they was like, well, you can't stay here if you're not going to, you're
Stay
not
on the
going to detox
medication,
here and come
right.
off Suboxone. So I was like, well, I'm not doing no more Suboxone. So they sent me back to detox to come off of Suboxone. And man, that was a battle, man. Like that was just another addiction, another way to keep me trapped.
So wait a second. So only because you tested positive for opiates, and I might assume you told them at some point, hey, that wasn't even my bag. It was just kind of an accident that had happened. But they put you on Suboxone, and the
Right.
Suboxone became a new addiction.
Way worse than anything I've ever had.
Really?
Like, yeah, I've never felt anything more horrible in my life to come off of.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know what physical addiction was. Meth and coke and acid and weed, they attach themselves to like the feel good sensors.
The receptors
and I study
and
this
whatnot.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those three benzodiazepines, cocaine, and alcohol, they attach themselves to your actual vital organ function. So, like benzodiazepines affect your breathing. Alcohol, I guess it all does the same. But when you come off of those, alcohol and benzos can kill you.
Right.
And the opiates, they just trigger a whole lot of problems, man. Horrible. Worst experience of my life.
How long did it take to go through that detox, Chuck?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I went through that detox. They sent me back to a detox center. And when I come out there, I went into another rehab called Luminous. And when I went into Luminous, I was there on they did a 5-day taper. So the 6th day I went to this rehab and I walk out and I felt like my skin was on fire and freezing at the same time. I felt like it was going to run off my bones. I was sick to my stomach. It was coming out both ends, if that makes sense.
Yes, of course.
My eyes felt like they were going to burst and pop out of my head. And I just remember walking in the room and I was crying, man. And I kept running to the bathroom. This one guy looks at me. He said, "You're going through it, man." And that lasted for about 6 days. But the biggest thing is that once you come off of opiates, your serotonin and melatonin levels in your body are messed up. So I wound up getting 30 minutes of sleep for about 90 days, man.
Really?
And I was going crazy again.
Yeah,
And
I bet.
Yeah, but I wanted it so bad, Patrick, that they actually came back to me and they said, "We can put you back on the MAT program, which is medicated assisted treatment."
Right.
And I looked at them. I said, "You better not bring that anywhere near me." I knew I was done, man.
Yeah.
I was going to fight it. I didn't want that life. 46 years of that, or 43 years of that, man. I'd had enough. And I did it, man. I did it. It took me about 6 months before I could sleep 3 or 4 hours. And even today, man, 3 years and almost 8 months later, I still don't sleep right. It really messes you up.
Yeah.
But I can get 6 to 7 hours on a good day. You know what I mean?
Right. So, you've basically for the first majority of your life, let's just say 43 years, have just been one difficult situation after another, just from bad to worse to worse than anybody could imagine, right?
Absolutely.
And you find yourself, it takes you months to finally beat the addiction that you've been facing, along with the new one you got saddled with.
Right.
And then what? I mean, where the hell do you start from there?
Good question. Well, I want to add in a couple of more things for
Okay.
context. When I was a child, from the time I was 6 till I was 14, I had a stepfather who did some pretty horrible things. Like, I mean, we didn't get belt whipped, we got punched. There was a time where he put a noose around my neck, strung me up. So the programming, we're talking about programming.
Right.
And this is what I thought a man was, but not the way I wanted a man to be. I remember, the moment that it occurred about what I would think a good man was. I was sitting in a county jail in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'd relapsed a couple times after this, but this stuck with me. And I was 46 or 47 at the time. And I was talking to a young man, and I said, I just want to get out of here and be the person that I look up to. And he literally said to me, why don't you do that right now? And I thought about that, and I was like, and so it took me a while, but I realized, is it the person with money that I look up to? No, because people with money can be jerks.
Sure.
The guy with the hottest wife, does that make him, have virtue? No. The guy with the nicest house, nicest car? No, it's the guy who's honest, the guy who has integrity, the guy who is responsible with his work, the guy who manages money or whatever, his time correctly. And I thought, well, those are things I can do in this moment. So I had to learn that in the moment. They say one day at a time in the program, and all the times that I went to those programs, it never made sense until that moment.
Right.
Sometimes it's one moment at a time.
Sometimes it is.
Right.
Sometimes it is. My dad was, he died 34 years sober, and it was quite a testimony for him. He didn't have the life you did, but he was pretty rough early on. And,
sure.
And so, I was fortunate enough, I guess, if you will, to experience a lot of the program and information early on in my life. And even though I went through some battles with different things, I was just better prepared than most in a manner of speaking. I know that sounds weird to even say, but I never had to.
Man, absolutely.
I was fortunate. I never found myself in the position that you did, although I made lots of bad decisions, But
Sure.
so there you are. You're in the Hot Springs County Jail. You've made a decision that, no, it's now. It's not when I get out. It's right damn now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it didn't stick right away. Like I said, I had to relapse a couple of times, and then I wound up on that church step. But the biggest thing is that, they also have these cliches make sense. And you've probably heard this one. When the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, you will stop.
That is correct.
And the pain of being who I was too much.
Yeah.
And I felt an explosion all of a sudden. Like when I got to Florida, there was an explosion inside of me that said I'd had enough, and the stop button come out.
Yeah, that's my dad used to phrase it as sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So much so that it angered me at the disease.
Right.
And I wanted to kill the person that I was.
Right.
Even if it meant if I stayed that way, doing it.
Right.
Way.
Yeah. You were just
ready to be.
You wanted to shed that caterpillar body and get the hell out of there, no matter what it meant.
Even if it meant physically dying.
Yes.
Like I was done. It was either I'm going to live or I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And when
but
I
I'm
got
not going to face this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just rather be in my grave than to continue that lifestyle. It was that bad. And when I got here, I remember the last I went through, like after Luminous, I went to, they were going to put me out on the streets because they didn't do IOP, which is intensive outpatient. You get a job.
Right.
And I didn't have any money, man. I literally came here with 2 shirts and 1 pair of pants. I would wash my pair of pants at night in the shower on me and take them off and let them dry, wash my underwear, sleep naked, get up, put my underwear on. And that's how I did it.
That's what you had to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I told them, I said, when can I get a job? I need to save money for halfway. They said, well, you got to go IOP. And I was like, when did I do that? They said, well, your insurance doesn't cover it. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? They said, you're going to have to figure it out. And I was stumped, man. And here we are 4 months in. And so I was like, wow, I was desperate. And I started calling rehabs in different places. And I got a hold of this one lady. And I told her, I was like, look, I need somewhere to go. They're going to be kicking me out of here Monday. I got nowhere to go. And she was like, honey, I don't take your insurance and I don't have a bed. And I was like, wow. I was like, well, I guess I can go out and use and go back through detox and start over. And she was like, oh God, don't do that. So she scholarshiped me for $260,000 to go through her rehab.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, $260,000. How long is it?
Well, that was just for the first 6 months. After that, she moved me to one of her sober houses and let me stay there for another year.
Which is
And
amazing. I mean, what a blessing that is. But it does bring about the question of why sometimes is help so unattainable to the normal person. That's a
yeah,
lot of money. Not everybody gets someone to show
yeah,
up with a letter and tell you, if you accept this help today, we can
yeah.
send you to the most beautiful beach and you can recover. You know what I mean?
Right,
And so that's an
absolutely.
unfortunate barrier. But thank God, again, there's serendipity here, because
Yeah,
somehow, some way, you've gotten someone to go, yeah, I'm going to give you $250,000 worth of this, and then put you in here for a year, which is another, astronomical amount of money, I'm certain.
absolutely. Well, and she only charged me $100 a week to live in Florida. I had my own room for a
Wow.
year, and I wound up meeting my wife in the process. And now I live in a 3-bedroom house. I got a pool in my backyard. I've got 2 cars in my driveway.
Let me ask you this question. I've got a couple questions here. Number one, why did she do that for you? What was it about you, Chuck, that I'm certain at some point you had to circle back to her and go, why the hell did you do this?
Yeah, no, I did, and she said she just felt it was the right thing to do at the time. Again, we're back to the God thing.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't believe in for so long, and I really felt like, God was pulling on her heart. When I got there, I was the only person in the house that would stay sober. So she said when she met me, though, she said when she pulled up, she was like, oh God, this guy's desperate.
Right.
She thought I was going to be a mess. And then about 4 months in, she saw me get 2 jobs. She saw me going to meetings. Then I started going to recovery church. Then I started going to school. And she was like, you're anything but desperate, because I was walking 6.5 miles to a bus stop to get on a bus to go another 12 miles to get to work. I didn't
Wow.
care. I didn't care.
It was that much that important to you. It was that much of a mission that there was no barrier at this point that was going to stop you from accomplishing what you
No.
set out to do with this reinventing your life.
There still isn't, Patrick.
That's
There still
beautiful, man.
isn't.
That's beautiful.
There still isn't. I went back to college. I was in college for 6 months. I walked into this meeting. It was for Phi Theta Kappa because I had a 4.0 GPA, but I walked in like 45 minutes early, and I thought I'd missed the meeting. It wound up being student government. They made me the director of community outreach. 6 months later, I got elected as student president. 4 months later, I got the Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Award. I got a special recognition award from a speaker, there's a speech and communications class because of public speaking. Then I wound up winning Club Member of the Year award because of the job I did as a student president. I wound up, yeah, man.
And this is
then
at
they wound up
47, 48?
Yeah, 40. I was 49 at the time. I'm on 50.
And you're the guy that's the student leader.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, today I'm on the district board of trustees for the foundation, which is the scholarship department. I'm the student trustee. And like they've flown me to Tallahassee, Washington, D.C. to meet politicians. I've met Mark Rubio, George Clyburn. Like I've met like NFL football players, Ray Sidnor doing, he was doing this thing called Shooting for Peace. Back in the Baltimore riots is when it started, but he's come down here, set it up with the school. It's on hold right now, but then I met another NFL star, like just putting me in places I never thought I would see, man.
So
Addiction taking me to places I never want to see again. And this recovery has taken me to places I thought I would never see.
So you went to college, and instead of leaving college to get a job, you just stayed at the college. Is that basically what happened?
Well, I'm not working for the college.
Okay.
I'm still in college.
Okay.
I've got my first degree last semester. I'm working on I'm going to be getting my PsyD. I'm going to be a doctor. In psychology.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be transferring to Nova Southern University here in about 2.5 more years. So
that's a pretty amazing turnaround. Now you say
right.
Not only that, but now somewhere along the way you met someone who said, "Man, even with all the warts, I still want to be with you. I want to marry you." How did that happen?
That's a good one too. So I do motivational videos. If you go look at my page, I have a lot of motivational videos down my page. And there was this one, and she had a private account on Instagram. So again, another God moment. I did this video on Facebook about dating toxic people, because I was really studying that at the time. And she was getting out of a toxic relationship, and she's a professional singer. She was on her way to work. She said she didn't know if she was going to make it, and all of a sudden she looks in her Instagram inbox. Did this on Facebook. She's got a private account. We're not connected. And there's this video, and she said she started watching it, and it gave her enough strength to go to work. And then when she got back from work, she dug around to try to find me. And then we started talking, and I told her, I was like, look, I'm not interested in a relationship, but I'll sure be friends with you if you need somebody to talk to. And things just kind of went from there, man.
Yeah. God had other plans, is what you're saying.
God had other plans, man.
Yeah. So
many
again,
God moments.
but oddly and beautifully, I think. I mean, what did you even sit in that moment and go, hold on a second? I mean, if I'm thinking about the first, 40-something years of my life here, filled with addiction, filled with devastation, filled with abuse, horror. I mean, almost any kind of adverb or verb you can throw at it, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
But here you are, a lady, someone who clearly must be pretty awesome, is circling to you for motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, what a full circle moment that must be.
Well, and here's the other thing. I'll tell you, and I'll even elaborate on that. So during my time at Palm Beach State College, I was taking 5 classes, 4 to 5 classes, and I went to ministry school concurrent with it, and I was taking 3 classes. I thought I was going to die. I was working 2 jobs, but so I went to ministry school because this God thing really got a hold of me, and I was like, man, I'll do whatever you want now. So I had done a lot of healing. I had learned a lot about, the way that, God can shape you and change you. And I'm not going to speak on my particular religion. If you put this out, I want people to be able to,
relate on any level.
Yeah. Whatever your God is, I'll say, I believe mine is the right one, but, regardless, I think all faiths have something good in them. But back to my point, when I met her, she was a Christian, and all her life. And because of my desperation and my deep dive and the studying and everything else, when she met me, my first 3 dates were taking her to church.
Okay.
And we didn't sleep together before marriage. That wasn't who I was, Patrick.
Yeah.
She literally told me, she said, I've never had anybody bring me closer to God than you have. And then,
but I mean, you can't lead someone if you haven't been in the trenches, to be honest.
That's it.
I mean, if you haven't been there, how the hell can you help anybody else?
Right. And so addicts are worshipers, man. We worship drugs.
Sure.
And I heard somebody say, if you can change an addict's mindset from worshiping the drug to worshiping God, be the best worshiper that you could find. Mm-hmm. And literally, that's exactly what happened. But somebody also told me it was trading one addiction for another. But I woke up in the morning and had to have drugs. I have to wake up in the morning and make myself follow God. So it's a big difference. It's not another addiction.
And I understand exactly what you're saying. So let me ask you this. Clearly, you do a lot of speaking. You do a lot of helping. Let's say that there's somebody, and I'm certain there has to be, listening, watching right now, and maybe they're in the throes of addiction. Maybe they're, just now finding themselves addicted. But, what's something you could share with them? What's something you could tell them in this moment to that person that might help them make a better decision, Chuck?
So I go to rehabs all the time, and I say this is really important. First of all, somebody told me once, you can't hold on to the devil's game. The ends, in the program says the ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death. But I also want to say this, that there's a lot of gifts that we have that we're using for the wrong things. All these gifts that I had chasing drugs, if I woke up and I was in a town where they said they had no drugs, I was finding the drugs.
You were a hustler.
I'm a hustler. I used that same gift that God gave me to hustle, not to hustle drugs, but to hustle my dream. And if you turn that gift around and you focus it on your dream, that gift won't fade. It'll just be used the right way. And there is nothing, and I mean nothing, you can't do. My life today is amazing. It's anything short of amazing, man.
Well, you said
And
you have a beautiful wife. You have
beautiful.
a beautiful home. You have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
That you're in Florida.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It
Yeah.
sounds
I
like
live on an acre and a quarter of land, man. I mean,
got a
I
nice,
couldn't-
decent ride.
Yeah, I got two cars. I got a
Two of them even.
BMW. I got a BMW and a GMC, and I bought two motorcycles too, but I had a wreck, so
I see.
yeah. So I'm not riding anymore.
So, I mean, when you talk about a 180, I mean, you could, these two lives could not be more diametrically opposed, Chuck.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's two different people altogether. Same person, two different people.
He's dead. He's dead. And if I can give one more piece of advice, if
Please.
somebody's in early recovery, one of the strongest things I did was I wrote myself a note from myself in recovery to that addict. And I put it in my wallet in case I ever reached in to grab money to buy again. And that note simply appealed to that other side of me saying, hey, look, I understand you. You've been my best friend, my worst enemy. We've been through everything together. You've tried to kill me. You've tried to save me. You've tried to keep me from hurting. And I know what you were doing was trying to protect me, but I don't need you no more. But if you ever come back and you're hurting, I understand. That energy right there. Those aren't the exact words verbatim.
But that's the spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, but that note, I carry it around. And I actually, if I ever want to get high again, I'm going to have to see that note.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to see that note. I see it every time I open my wallet. I don't have my wallet in here, but it's in my wallet. And I look at it every time.
Chuck, now that, you're on the other side of this, are there ever moments that your mind says, well, maybe I could? I mean, does it ever even creep in the back somewhere?
It did until June 27th of last year when I had my spiritual awakening. And it only did it very seldom. Today, I don't even allow myself to think about using drugs, much less think about it and then feel it.
You've rewired it.
Yeah, I've rewired it. That's exactly the right word. But it comes down to a rewiring.
Well, I think it's literally true. I mean, I think your synapses and the chemicals in your brain create paths that that your dopamine, serotonin, these things go through. And in order to change that, you have to change the path literally.
You do, absolutely. Well, there's also a place in your brain, and I'll study this. It's called the basal ganglia. And that place is the habit forming part of your brain. And if you're in recovery and you think, oh, I can smoke weed, and you smoke weed, it damages the prefrontal cortex and that controls the basal ganglia. But if you do something long enough, like not use drugs, the basal ganglia starts to develop the habit of not doing drugs. The obsession will literally go away. Like when I think about, and I'm in problems now, and I had problems, I'm not perfect, but when I have a problem, encounter a problem, and I think about it, it doesn't make me go, oh, that's a good idea. It makes me cringe.
Right.
It makes me literally cringe to think about getting high because and I think going to rehabs and speaking, I spoke at 3 different places last week. And I see those people, it reminds me every day, do service with addicts if you're in addiction.
My father spent 34 years helping other people get sober, and that was his mission in life. And so I understand the need and the power that lies within that messaging and within that service to other people. It's
Absolutely.
Service is, honestly, even without addiction, service is one of the most powerful feelings and one of the most powerful things that can ever be. And, I often tell people who feel depression or overwhelmed with things in their life, just pause that for a minute, compartmentalize it, and go serve someone else for just an hour and see if it doesn't help you reframe some things.
Yeah, it'll get your mind off you at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Chuck, I go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, the last thing I'm going to say is with the service thing, though, man, not only does it keep you from forgetting where you came from, but when you start to see people's lights come on, you start to feel purpose like you've never felt before. Yeah,
no, I mean, it has to be, I've not done that in that capacity for another human being or helped another human being to find that light. But I can only imagine that the reward of seeing that is probably more potent than any other reward you'd ever received.
Yeah,
Because you're
absolutely,
almost seeing you look back at you, aren't you?
absolutely, 100%.
It's like
And
you're
it reminds
recovering
you of
over
that
and
dark
over
place.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is I found you, the guy that used to work for First Arkansas Bail Bonds. Me and him still talk, and he bonded me out 3 times before I went to prison. And like, he was washed his hands of me, but he's been watching me for 3.5 years. And you posted the post, and he put my name on it.
Yeah.
And like, he's blown away because he's seen me at 160 pounds. I weigh 250 pounds right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's seen me looking like a stick man.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it just reminds me of that moment when I was that stick man, and I've had people follow me to Florida, like 10 people already, and it's saved their life, man. And you become a roadmap, man. That purpose is what we need. We need a clear identity.
You're the blueprint now.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's not your blueprint, but it is a blueprint that was put upon you, right? Is
Absolutely.
that how you would describe it?
100%. And there are different blueprints.
Yeah.
What gets me clean might kill somebody else. So, if
this
you're
is
out
true.
there and you're struggling and you find your way, make sure you share it, because my blueprint may not work for the blueprints that it works for that will work for somebody else. Your blueprint may be the one they need.
So, Chuck, here's how I'd like to wrap this up. First of all, I want to genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because, even though it's something that you do regularly, you still have to be vulnerable and honest to a very dark degree to tell and share your story. And I know we're only skimming the story, to be honest. I just got a Cliff Notes version of it. I'm certain that we could spend literally hours upon hours going through some of the different stages that addiction put you through, or you put you through, right? And subsequently the bonuses that have been provided to you afterwards. But I know this for a fact. I know that somebody watching right now says, man, this Chuck guy is reaching me, and I need to know more. Chuck, how can they find you? How can they get you? And what do they need to do to get more Chuck McConnell in their damn life today?
Well, if they're on Facebook, they can look me up there. I'm always accessible by phone. And the story will be coming out. I'm actually writing a book right now. I'm probably about 100 pages in.
Yeah.
It's called The Step, Unbreak the Brokenness. And it's going to be telling the story, the whole life story, but also the roadmap, like we were talking about.
Do you have a website right now?
I don't have a website per se right now.
That's okay. That's all right, man.
We're getting there. My wife just fought cancer, so we're just getting through that. We bought podcast equipment.
Oh, that's
I got a
great.
TV studio down there. So,
well,
and we actually do worship ministry. So we're starting.
Here's what I'll tell you. Whenever you get that up and going, you get your podcast and all that up and going. If there's any way I can help promote, share, or do anything to benefit you in that arena, whatever I can offer will be yours.
Absolutely. Thank you, Patrick. Same here.
No, you're more than welcome.
Promote.
No, that's great. But I love the mission that you have. I love that you've been there, and that's what so many people need. It's so hard to learn from someone who's always made the right choices and had the best life. The guy who married his high school sweetheart, really, dabbled, maybe played, but didn't do anything. Never really faced those demons down. I mean, you've not just faced the demon, you partied with the demons, you've been strangled by the demons. I mean, it's all happened to you,
Yeah, I scared the demons.
You probably made them nervous. That's right. So, I think this is a beautiful thing to share with others. And while I may not followed exactly in my father's footsteps, I didn't face the addiction. I do believe that, all of us are seeking some type of betterment in our lives.
Course.
And whomever we can connect with to get that, be it love or be it betterment, both are amazing. And so what you're doing is commendable on every possible level and admirable to have, come from where you've come from.
Absolutely. And addiction isn't the only thing that can destroy a person. We we've all been through heartbreak. We've had toxic relationships. We've all been in self-defeating cycles. So Patrick, don't sell anything that you've been through short, man, because somebody even in addiction is still going to need your way out.
Well, and I hear you on that for sure. So Chuck McConnell, you can find him on Facebook. You can go over to the Patrick and the People page where we posted about this, and you'll see him tagged in the post. I'll ask one of our guys to share a link to your Facebook page when we air this tomorrow, where that says, as seen on Patrick and the People, here's Chuck McConnell's page and everything, and try to send some folks your way, because I have a strong feeling that a lot of new friends are going to come your way who are, looking for the right answer in their life, a better decision in their life. Not that they're bad people, they're just about better decisions, right?
Absolutely. And I'm here to help. Thank you, Patrick.
Man, thank you for taking time out of your schedule and your day to do this. I'm humbled. I'm honored. And thank you again, Chuck. It was great to meet you. And I hope to be able to help and work with you again in the future, man.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right,
100%.
man.
I'm going to send you my phone number too. Okay.
Hey, please do, Chuck. I mean that. Send it to me, and let's connect up and see how we can team up together somehow to do better for people. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right,
Let's
I'm
do it.
in,
Great.
man. We'll talk soon,
Thanks,
Chuck.
man.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great one, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we are back, and man, we are joined here, and let's see if I can get him to scooch up. Oh, here you. Yeah. Oh, you ended up with mine. Okay, that's fine. You use those. That'll work. Let's see. Can you scooch up just that way towards the front a little bit? We'll move the mic here. That way people can see you a little better. Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, there we go. Yes, sir. Just, you can see yourself up on the monitor there.
There I am.
Yeah. Here, matter of fact, let me just take, hold on one second. I'll just do a little of this. There we go. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks good. So we just were joined by Sam Sparks. Now, Sam, you may recognize him because he was just on this season's American Idol.
Yes, sir.
How exciting, man. Where are you from, Sam? You're from Dardanelle?
Yeah, I come out of Dardanelle, Arkansas. That's where I graduated high school from, and where I live now.
Okay. And so how long have you been playing music, man?
Man, music started really young for me. I started playing the drums, actually, when I was in, like, the 4th grade, and
Okay.
it grew from there, and I play around, 10 instruments now, and
Wow, 10 instruments.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, man.
Yeah, no, so music's just always been a big part of it for me.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, you started playing music from a young age. When did you decide, hey, I really, really want to do something with this and get serious?
Well, I mean, it always in the back of my mind, but I really didn't take that jump until it was kind of taken for me. Like you said, I was on American Idol, but I didn't sign up. My buddy actually signed me up. So
Yeah.
I never would have taken that step, probably, that really pushed me to where I am now and just chasing it full on.
Yeah. So when you say it was kind of fortunate, why did your buddy do it? Why did he put you in for American Idol and you didn't know?
Well, he'd been saying for a long time that I should do it, but I just didn't believe that.
That anybody would respond to you.
Right, yeah, I just didn't think maybe I had it, so, I really wasn't going to push it, and but he pushed it for me, so.
Yeah. Okay. So you end up on that. Now, let me ask you this. How does is it different because of, the limitations you have from physicality? How does that affect your musicality or your performing?
Yeah, so I got injured a little over 2 years ago now, so it was in 2022.
So it's a recent injury.
Yeah. So I got injured when I was 23 years old, and I obviously did music from a young age. So,
Right.
When I was in the hospital, really is whenever I continued to grow it, because we had in the hospital I was at in Colorado, Craig Hospital, they had a therapeutic recreation program.
Okay.
And in that program, they had a guitar that you could come in and play, and then they said, hey, you can just take it to your room. So
That was a mistake.
yeah, right. So I couldn't really sing, but I could play, and it really kept that love for music going at a time that I really needed something to latch on to.
Yeah. So you write and create your own music. What kind of artist were you inspired by?
Definitely rock for sure. I grew up listening to Foo Fighters and
Yeah.
McConnell, and then I don't know, Three Doors Down.
Sure.
And,
Hell yeah, yeah.
stuff like that. So
It's all the good classics.
right,
there.
all the good stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what I listen to, and but definitely on the rock side of things.
Yeah. Okay. So rock was your jam. So you probably, I'm guessing, you probably heard my other show before at
Yeah,
some point.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you'd be, that's cool, man. I'm so excited because meeting people like yourself is exactly what this show is about, and lifting up people here. I love to help people like Luke, and of course he is a homie, but I love to help the big stars as much and learn about them. But people locally, that's the passion that I have, is to help artists just like yourself to break through and to get the most that they can get, man. That's so much more exciting to me than to interview, no disrespect, but to interview Joe Exotic again. It's hey, Joe's cool, but it's always going to be the same thing, right? It's always going to be about, hey, I need a pardon, and I understand that, and he does. But having you on here, Sam, Chad Sledge, our co-host and my good friend, connected me up with you. So big thanks to Chad. He said he had run into you somewhere. Where did y'all run into each other?
I got my nose pierced the other day. And
there you go.
Okay.
He pierced it for me, and we were on our way out the door. He said, "Man, you got any more questions?" I said, "Yeah, who signed that guitar on your wall?" And he told me that it was somebody that was on the show previously. And I said, "Well, how famous you got to be on there?" And he said, "Well, what do you got?" And I was like, "Well, I was on American Idol." He said, "What?" So just kind of went from there.
Was that the one that I signed for him?
It was
That's
the one.
hilarious.
There you go.
Dude, that's hilarious. It's full circle right here.
That's hilarious.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's great, man. So you're a rocker and you're right. Now, do you do anything otherwise besides music, like a traditional day job, or are you just focused on music?
Right now, I'm full-time music.
That's awesome,
I'm
man.
just gigging as much as I can. I've been
That's
gigging
great.
around in like Louisiana some. And
Really?
So yeah.
So you're starting to really get out there. I mean, I guess this being on American Idol kind of pushed the notoriety a little bit to get you out there some more.
Yeah. I got to open for Tracy Lawrence the other day.
Really?
Good for you.
Well, what was that
man.
like, man? Tell me about that.
Oh man, I once again felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, but
You felt like an imposter?
yeah, somehow I tricked everybody and they let me in. So
That's awesome, man.
We gotta
It
get
was
you to
really
Nashville, man.
yeah. I went down there the other day with my buddy and hung out, and it was I love it down there.
Oh yeah.
I bet he could connect you up with some folks
100%,
there that might be useful or helpful for some other shows and things of that
absolutely,
nature. Yeah, that's again. It's what the people are about here, man. We all lift each other up, Sam. That's what this gig is about. There's no imposters here. There's only people that we lift up together. That's the beauty of it, man. My producer, who does our camera operations, his name's Brandon. He is also, as you can see in his last comment, he said, "He's in a wheelchair like me. You inspire me, brother."
Oh heck yeah, that's so cool.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't even
isn't
know
it?
that.
Yeah, man. He's our camera operator. He does it all remotely. He's a great guy. And so that, this is super meaningful for him as well, man.
Yeah,
So
well,
just know that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool for me as well. That's super cool.
Yeah. So, what else should people know about you? I mean, how do they find you, number one, if they want your music?
So I'm actually going to be recording my first single next week, and so I'll be putting that out, and I'll be putting information out on when that's going to drop on my social media. But right now you can find me on social media, Sam Sparks Official.
Okay.
I'll go look you up real quick.
Yeah. So on Facebook or whatever.
So Facebook, Sam Sparks, and then Instagram, Sam Sparks Official.
Okay.
And my TikTok, I'm not super active on there, but it's at the Sam Sparks.
Yeah, let me encourage you to get active on TikTok. It's a place where you can go viral often, and I think you're probably well suited for it, I bet.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to start being more active on there once I have my single ready and going to be dropping that. Yeah.
So
That's got you a follow on there.
Yeah, sweet.
So I'll add you here in a minute myself. What you're going to do? You're going to perform for us here, but I'd like to, before you do that, ask you that when you do drop your single, would you be willing to come back and visit with us again and talk about what's going on and play it or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm super excited, man. I'm so glad that you went to Chad's place to get a bonus hole put in, and this is what happened. That's pretty amazing, really.
Yeah.
So Sam's going to perform acoustically right now. He's got a song for us, and I'm gonna shove even my mic up here. Hold on one second, so I can just give him everything I got. All right. right, Sam. It's your show, baby. We're just in it.
All right. Let me get situated here.
Oh, you're good, man. Take your time and do your thing, man. I'm gonna make sure our camera is really getting you good there.
It's so cool for me to be able to watch one and not have to worry about playing one.
I know,
You
right?
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do I need these on for this?
No, you don't. You just need to do you, man. And we're gonna give you all the camera love there.
I think I'm gonna play one. It's called Misfit.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's the camera that's on you right there. So if you want to look at it or love it, or you don't have to, but you can.
Yeah. Sweet. Probably not a big looker. I'm the type that's good for nothing, never really searching something, always had to turn to something, tell me more. Cause I'm a misfit, I know you miss this. Now I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, tell me why I have to compromise, hearing all these lies, in your disguise. I never saw you coming, I started running. I never fit in, you never listen. Now I'm living in my own world. The dollar bills are stacking up, but never really fast enough. The bills are really adding up. Tell me more. I stress all the time, and I realize I never saw you coming. I started running. I never fit in, you never listen. Now I'm living in my own world. I'm stuck to the ground, no wings left to fly. I look around and see everyone doing so much better than me. Whoa, and now I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, tell me why I have to compromise, hearing all these lies, building your disguise. I never saw you coming till I started running. I never fit in, you never listen. Now I'm living in my own world.
Yeah.
Man, that actually was damn awesome. Hold
That was
on one
awesome,
second
dude.
here. Let me just see if I can get this camera situated again.
Dustin
Hold on.
King in the comments. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Dustin? How are you,
Dude,
buddy?
it's been way too long, man.
Diamondback, baby.
Yeah,
What's
dude.
going on with that?
Man.
Yeah, man, that was awesome, bro. I mean, that legit was fantastic, man. That's
Sounded
you,
killer, dude.
You
Yeah.
got a nice. I mean, there was a real interesting rhythm to the vocals and everything. That was I liked it. It's real hip. It's real modern, but it's still rootsy.
Gives me Hardy vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, people tell me I look like him all the time.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it till you mentioned it first, bro, but
Yeah.
straight up, I thought you were Hardy at first whenever you came in. And I was like, what? I had to double take. I
Yeah,
was
so
like, wait,
before
what?
I was in a wheelchair, like in bars and stuff,
Yeah.
frequently got asked,
Really?
Are you Hardy? Like,
And you would be like, "Yep."
yeah. Actually, at the time, I didn't know who he was. I had to look him up, and I was
Yeah.
like, no way. And then I listened to his music. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's funny. See, my son, my younger son Tyler, he looks like Bad Bunny, the artist, and all the time he gets it. And I'm like, I don't know why you're not getting free hotels and chicks, man. And something's wrong with you because if I looked like you, yes, I am Bad Bunny. Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
I never could figure out how to make it pay dividends, but it was cool.
No, that is cool, man. That is cool. So this is so exciting. I mean, you're playing shows around. You got on Idol. What was it like to be on there? I mean, just the process in general. Was it a lot of hurry up and wait? Was it exciting? Was it fun? Was it maddening? Was it all the above?
Yeah, so like from the time that I first auditioned to the time it aired was like a year for me.
Really?
I believe it. Yeah.
It was really early on that I auditioned. A lot of people auditioned much later, but yeah. So it was a lot of hurry up and wait for me.
Yeah.
But because for me, it was the biggest thing that had happened for me musically. So
Sure.
it was like
I think it would be for a lot of people,
so
man.
it was like, come on, like
Yeah, you were ready for it because you can't talk about it until.
no, yeah. So you saw.
I know. I just did a reality show, and I still can't talk about really anything that happened during the show. I can only say, yeah, we did okay, and it's coming soon.
Yeah. Luckily, this season has already aired all the way through, and
Yeah.
Jamal won it. Which I got to meet him, and but it was so cool. That for me, I think that was the coolest part is like seeing the people on the TV. Maybe not even myself, but just the people that I got to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like knowing that I know those people that are up there just like killing it and.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that was probably the coolest part. Is
Yeah.
just meeting the other people and the connections I made and that sort of thing.
Now, did you make it to where you went before the judges? You got to get in front of them and talk to them and all that, right?
Yeah, so I auditioned in Nashville actually.
Oh, there you go.
At the Graduate Hotel there.
Oh yeah, I know right what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I got to stay there. It was really cool, and then auditioned in front of Luke Bryan, Carrie Underwood, and Lionel Richie.
Carrie's
Okay.
cool, man. She's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and so I got my gold ticket there. So
Yeah.
I played an original song for them as well called Colorado Gray.
Yeah.
And that's actually the single that I'm going to be putting out. As
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's,
hell yeah.
that reached a lot of people, I think. I mean, a lot of people seem to really, that song resonated with them.
Yeah, it was really cool just to get like that kind of recognition for something that I wrote as well.
Yeah.
So it was like a double whammy for me. So
Absolutely, it was.
and then I got my gold ticket and went to Hollywood after that. So they flew out to L.A. and got to stay there. At
Yeah.
the,
That had to be fun.
yeah, swanky hotel there as well.
Yeah.
And then I got out that first round there in Hollywood. So
But at least you made it that far with a
Oh,
gold,
yeah.
with a
dude.
golden
Yeah.
ticket, no less. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll always be able to put that video up if you getting the golden ticket. I mean, that's got to be pretty dope.
And the networking you probably got from that too, man. Like,
Oh my God!
It's
yeah.
been everything for me. So I've been playing with Clara Ray. It was another girl that made it. She made it further than I did as well.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if you've teamed up yet with any of
Yeah,
them.
so we've been playing together. We've played probably 5 or 6 together.
Really?
We split open for Tracy. So
That's
that's
awesome,
sick.
man.
So I played at my set and she played her set, and we got to open together.
That's so cool, man. That's got to be exciting. Now you've got new connections. You're playing new shows. You're opening for pretty big stars there.
Yeah,
Man, we got to get you at Live Oak over in Nashville, man. Over there on 8th. It's one of the good writers rounds over there, dude.
man, I'll play wherever right now. I drove to Louisiana to play at an open mic for free. So
Oh, there you go.
Really?
dude. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's commitment now.
yeah, I'll do it. And I don't even have AC in my car, so I mean I'll do
Oh,
whatever I got to do.
right.
Well, we need to get that situated for
Yeah.
damn sure. We need to get you some AC in your car. What's going on with that,
Oh,
man?
the old compressor locked up. Had
Did
to
it?
bypass it with
Yeah.
a shorter
I'm
bolt.
sure somebody listening right now wants to help this guy figure out what's going on with this compressor so we can get that right. You don't need to be riding around with no air in summertime,
They
man.
did it for years.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. No, I spent my whole my young adult life in cars without air. I know. Yeah, I had 270 air, 2 windows at 70 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
Two-speed, yeah.
I don't know about y'all. I'm too fat for no air conditioning. I gotta have air conditioning, bro. Like I can't be doing the no AC thing.
Well, it gives me a little more horsepower as well. So
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's very true. Very true, man.
7.
Yeah. So Sam Sparks or Sam Sparks Official on Instagram, right?
Yes, sir.
He's got a TikTok. He's working on getting that together. But really, Facebook and Instagram is where the action is for Sam Sparks. If you want to follow him, and I'm encouraging everybody to get out and give him a follow. Check him out and support him. I mean, this is one of our guys. He's from Dardanelle, so we got to look out for him, and help him get up there. So you're going to come back when you drop your single, I hope, assuming
Absolutely.
that your tour schedule will allow you to.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back and talk more about it and keep up with you as you go and work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this has been fun. I'd love to do it.
No, that's great. And we've got, between me and you, we've got some things that are unannounced in the future coming up that I could see you being involved in, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no, that's a killer idea.
Isn't it? Isn't it a
Oh,
killer idea?
yeah, let's-
Yeah. We'll get
Yeah.
offline though. Offline. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't say shit right now, okay? This is all my life is holding secrets anymore. But look, Marcia said, get this guy some bookings and AC. Yeah. He said, don't ask Patrick. It took him 3 days to change the starter. You're damn right. Don't ask me to do anything like that, bro. Get a professional. Big thanks to Luke. Big thanks to Darrin Riggan earlier for being here. He's amazing with Death Metal Disco. Luke, check out Bandage Ruins. And, of course, Sam Sparks and Sam Sparks Official right here. Hell of a show today. Share it with all your friends, please. Let everybody know the good things we're doing and the people that we're lifting up, and bring them into the fold so we can all help, lift each other up and keep promoting Arkansas strong and show the nation why we're not the shittiest state that there is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that we got a lot going for us. So big thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. All right.
See you.